The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.
What's up, guys? You like that intro? I like that intro too. Well, it's good to be here again on Sunday. We all get together today. We chop it up, we talk, we hang out. It's a time passer. You know, it's a positive thing. We can make a nice time out of this. You know, years ago, growing up, we hung out on corners. Now we hang out on YouTube, right? Miss Miggins, Rob D, Elijah, Big Lou, Hazo. What's up, guys? How's everything? Jaitano, Bracco, Mike Roch, Yo Mama. What's up, Yo Mama? Joey D. How are you? How's everything? I hope mom's okay. To all you guys, Mike Larry, Boston J, don't know where you are. If you're out there, live and let live. Uncle Bobo, what's up, pal? How's everything? Well, you know we do this every Sunday, and we make a nice time out of this. I appreciate all the people who come and come into the chat, come watch the show. You're invited to come on anytime. Boston J, I see you. Thank you. Van Voto, Cannon. How are you guys? AC, Jennifer Ledette, Pat Trovellino, the New York Dad. How are you? How's everything? Joe Postino. To all you people out there that are watching and you're in the chat, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. You know, we make this into a nice time. We all get together. And you know, it's like a family. We come together once a week on a Sunday, chop it up. I hope everyone had a good dinner today. I hope, you know, you spend time with your family. I hope you're doing the right thing in life, and I hope you're excelling in life, all of you. You know, so today the title is A True Boss Never Talks. So I put that in there to get some attention for this video. You know, we could talk about some gangster stuff and how the mob works with fair. But also, before I get into all that, what I want to talk about, you know, I hear about all these young children and kids and men and women, middle age, even younger, teenagers, 20-something-year-olds. Everyone's overdosing on these drugs. You know, these are the stories you just keep on hearing, and it continues to go on. You know, it's really a sad thing. It's a tough topic to talk about, but teach your kids about drugs, never touching them, never doing them what they do to you. I look back on so many lives of my friends that I grew up with, who overdosed, who tried drugs, who turned someone on to drugs. And at the end, all you do is get heartbreak and pain, because that person either dies, overdoses, ruins his life, especially if you have children and you're doing drugs. It's such a sad thing, because these kids, when they come into this world, they deserve better. So that's what we have to do for our children, give them better. But that's something I wanted to discuss. You're all welcome to come on here and talk about whatever you like, as long as it's respectable and, you know, understanding. Well, as you know, what I do is I put a link in there. You guys could come on. We could talk about some mob stuff. We could talk about what's going on in the world today, and, you know, whatever is the topic of the day. So we'll have another good show today. I'm happy to see all you guys showed up. It means a lot to me. Let's just make a nice time out of it, like we always do, right? All right, let's just check this out. Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm just trying to figure this out. But I hope everyone had a good week. If something's going on in your life, bring it to the chat. Let's talk about it. And let's build a discussion. Here it is, dropping a link. And so everything that's going on in the world today, I mean, one of the biggest problems in the world is people overdosing on fentanyl, all these drugs, cocaine, heroin, all this bad stuff, right? It's something where we read about it day after day, and it's actually affecting people we love and people we know, our neighbors, their children. And it's something where you got to teach your kids to stay away from these drugs, because there's a lot of things going on out there and you got to be very careful. So I dropped the link, whoever wants to come in. And also, the topic of the day is the true boss never talks. And if you want to talk about gangsters, who your favorite gangster is, who your favorite boss you think was of all time in the mob, bring it to the table. Boston J, what's up, buddy? Dropping a link. Where's my boy Eddie G? He's not here today. Oh, there's Eddie G. Okay. Thank you. James Proctor. Okay, so we got James Proctor on here. Thank you for the $27.99, Michael. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. James Proctor. Let's see what he has to say. James Proctor, how are you?
Doing good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I think that definitely a relevant topic. First of all, thanks for having me on. I'm a year younger than you. I'm 51.
Okay. How are you?
Yeah. Doing good. Doing good. But yeah, I mean I think that the drug issue, I was lucky. I was brought up in a family that my parents were a lot older and
Okay.
they scared me. They told me that, drugs would burn my brain out. They would, just, tell me all sorts of things like I'd become a vegetable and all that. But, it's just, I think a lot of the drug issue today is just, I think is peer pressure and then boredom. I mean, I guess when you were on the street, obviously, a lot of the crew sold drugs, but how many of you guys actually use drugs?
Yeah, we use drugs too. There was a lot of cocaine going on at that time.
Yeah,
Me as a kid, I used to do a little cocaine with my friends every so often. Some of my friends did it all the time. But there was a lot of drugs out there. Mescaline. When you're a kid, you try mescaline and you try these drugs out of peer pressure, with your
yeah,
friends. So you know what? There's a lot of going on in the street where you have to teach your children, these drugs could kill you, because today someone could give you a pill. They could tell you it's an aspirin. You know what? It could be fentanyl and you're dead. You're not waking up tomorrow.
yeah.
You know, so
Exactly.
we're living in dangerous times, and these every time I open up a newspaper, someone overdosed of drugs, whether it's in the five boroughs, somewhere in the boroughs, there's always an overdose. Just like there's
Yeah.
always a murder. There's so much going on in the world today, and we just gotta teach our kids, because we can't leave it to the teachers to teach our kids. You
No.
know, the parents have to teach the kids, because the parents taught the kids many years ago, and the kids were very bright. Now today everything is technology. That's all we're listening to is technology.
Yeah, I think too. I had a girlfriend. She got hooked on heroin because of a car accident. And she was actually a nurse, and then she moved back up to Queens and ended up getting a dose of heroin that was straight with fentanyl. And she actually had one of those injections of the whatever it's called to kind of reverse it, but she wasn't able to get it injected in time, and she died. And she knew about the whole danger of the drugs, but they're lacing heroin with fentanyl. That's the big thing now.
Yeah, and it's scary, because you know what? I mean, just recently, within the last 2 years, I know a few people who passed, who died of overdose. And you know what? They might have thought they
Yeah,
were getting something that they could trust, and you can't even trust the drug dealers today. You can't trust nobody. You know, I
no,
mean, it's insane, especially in these tough neighborhoods. They're killing people
yeah,
left and right. It's insane. Even the public
yeah,
schools today, again, tough. It's hard.
right.
When you have children, your kids have to go to these public schools, and they're really tough public schools.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. And I have a quick question for you. So you're talking about, you know, a good boss doesn't talk, right?
Yes.
And so, who was, obviously, I know that you were in the life, you weren't made, but you were around all those guys. So, who was your the boss that you would say was the best that you interacted with?
Oh, out of all the people in my lifetime, wise guys who I interacted with, that's a
Right,
good
and who
question.
was the best one?
Out of all the wise guys in my lifetime that I interacted with, uh, I would say, from right now, looking back
Hmm.
and what went on, well, I would say Matty Madonna is probably the number one guy that I
The
interacted with.
qualities did, yeah. What
Excuse
was
me?
the qualities that made him? What were the qualities that made him such a good boss or leader?
What made him such a good boss and leader is that he did a lot of time in jail. He was very he would never ever think about talking to the authorities. I'm saying, I mean, he
Yeah,
lived that life. He was a drug dealer coming up. Uh, his first bid when he was in prison, he actually killed somebody. Nobody knows that, but they could look that up. He did over
yeah,
maybe 35 years of jail. I mean, the guy was a stand-up guy. I mean, look, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of guys I met. I mean, I could name a bunch of them, but he's one that stands up because he's going to die in jail too. He's an old timer that's going to actually die in jail. And he made
yeah.
it to a boss. I met this guy as an associate. When I met him in
Right.
prison, he was nothing but a drug dealer. When he went home, he went
Hmm.
from an associate to a captain to an acting boss. I mean, that's pretty tough. You got to really be pretty smart and clever to make it up,
Yeah.
that ladder quick, you know? And he was an earner. Everything with him was money. He knew money made the world go round. Money was
Right.
fuel to get to where you got to go. Money was power. That's how it was. And these guys knew that.
Yeah. Right. But what do you think of it, in today's environment? I mean, everything you hear on YouTube is about this person's a rat, that person's a rat. But to me, I think honor goes both ways. I think originally Cosa Nostra, when you look at it from the surface, the values that it had was actually positive, meaning that families were a big part, you respected women, all of the stuff on the surface. But when you look beyond that, there's the treachery, and your best friend's going to kill you. And so, why would a person, for me, I think honor goes both ways. And to call someone a rat, well, that person on the other side, they would have no problem killing you. They'd have no problem taking advantage of you, taking your money, everything. But then you're not supposed to say anything, right? But it's just as crazy to me because I would say that 99% of the people out there would also go to the authorities if it meant saving them from having to be life in jail or 50 years in jail.
Well, you know what it is? These people who make comments like that, in all honesty, they should look at their own life because to judge
Hmm.
somebody else's, you have to walk in
Right.
that person's shoes. And what I'm saying is that look, not everyone, everybody's story is different. Some people are really vicious.
Yes.
Some people, uh, get into their troubles and whatever the case may be. But you know what? Listen, nobody's better than anybody, and anyone who thinks that,
Right.
shame on them. But look, in the mob, what you could do is you could kill your best friend, but if you
Yep.
testify against him, you're no good. You know,
Right.
and in the end, when you're in it, it's all treachery because you have to worry about who's coming for you, who's going to be trying to kill you, and you're also trying to kill someone else. I mean, it's all
Hmm.
treachery in life. And then, when the time comes when your back is against the wall, a lot of guys think and they say, you know what, this is my time to get out of the mob.
Right.
Now it's time to, get out of it. And that's what a lot of people do. I'm saying, and there has to be someone that goes down. And
Right.
eventually, these people take oaths. This is a criminal organization, whether it's a
Right.
gang, whether it's a mob, whatever it is. If you're involved in
Hmm.
any kind of crime, eventually, look, you know what? There comes an end. You know, it's not going to go on forever. It's a short-lived life, the life of crime.
Yeah, it is, and it's also a young person's game. I'm 51, and you know, that's something for once you're 30, you're old on the street, right? Unless you're a boss or a wise guy or something, right? And I mean, that's a tough life.
And that's the thing too. You know what? See, you said you just mentioned age. Now the thing is, look,
Yeah.
when you're young, you could do a lot of things, but then as you start getting older, it's different. That's why they say the streets are for the young. I'm saying because when
Yeah.
you're young, you can run around, you take a pinch, you could do some time, but
Of course.
eventually, you know what? Look, the clock keeps on ticking,
Hmm.
and we get old and we change. We do change. Some people don't. Some people stay that way forever. But, a lot of people do change, and there's circles of life. You start out as a kid, move to a teenager, then you hit your 20s, and you think you're invincible at some time. Then you realize, what?
Exactly.
Then you realize who you really are. I didn't
Hmm.
realize who I was till maybe I was about 29, 30 years old. So,
Exactly.
you
Same
know,
here.
in the course of life, you experience certain things, and you know, at the end, it's the choices you make.
Hmm. Yeah, I just had one last question. So, in your day, when you were part of the Bath Avenue crew, and so basically you were an arm of or Bath Avenue crew was an arm of the Bonanno family, so a Bonanno crime family, and so basically gangsters in training, and so at that point had the Bonanno family been um, kicked off the commission? Because you remember they were off the commission for a period of years.
Yes, you know what? They were kicked off the commission, and that was actually a good thing for them because
Yeah.
now what they did was they just did their own thing without answering to a commission.
Yeah.
And that kept them out of the commission case. Understand? All
Hmm.
the other bosses got pinched for the commission case. That kept them out, the banana
Yes.
guys. So they actually lucked out with that by not being a part of the commission. So that was a good thing for
Right.
them. They benefited with that of staying out of prison. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I got a couple more guys over here. But listen, hey, it was
Yep.
nice talking to you.
Thank you. Nice
Okay.
talking to you. And I'm glad to join your, your membership or whatever. I just did that, and
Yeah, James, I
so look
appreciate
forward to spending more time with you.
James, I appreciate. Where you from?
Dallas, Texas. You could probably tell
Nice.
from my accent. Yeah,
Wow, beautiful. It's beautiful out there.
it is. Yes.
A lot,
Thank you so much for the time. What's
hey,
that?
James, have a great night.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
James Proctor. Nice seeing you, James Proctor. Thanks for coming on. Let me see. I got Edwin Jimenez. Eddie G, I see you. Hang out a minute. I got Edwin Jimenez. Let me see Edwin. Edwin, are you there? Edwin, I don't see you. Okay. Edwin's not there. I got Eddie G. We'll throw on Eddie G for a little while. See what he's got to say. Eddie G.
Jimmy, what's going on, buddy?
How's everything?
Aces. Everything's aces.
Good. How you making out? How's your sister?
Thank you for asking. She's good. She's hanging in there. She's tough. She's
Good.
tougher than what she thinks too.
Good.
But I appreciate you asking.
Yeah. How's
So,
everything? Yeah.
I hear you.
How's everything with you?
Good. You know, taking one day at a time. I think my lips are chapped. Looks like my lips are red or something.
Yeah, that's all
Maybe.
right. That's that could be the camera.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah. So what's new?
Let's see. I had a little. What were we talking about? We're talking about bosses. Weren't we talking about bosses or no?
Oh yeah, a true boss never talks. That's the title. But you know what? You could talk about any gangster you want. I mean, if you got a story about someone that overdosed that you know, I mean, this is a subject that really bothers me because I see all these young kids today. They're overdosing on these drugs, and fentanyl is in all these drugs. They got to be so careful. You know,
Sure.
I mean, it's people's sons, it's their children. Parents. I mean, it's just a sad thing because they don't realize that they're jeopardizing their life and that people love them.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, it bothers me. I see these young kids just overdosing on drugs. It's just insane.
Yeah. And you know what? It should bother you, and it should bother me, and it should bother everybody. And the fact of the matter is, it's a touchy subject, and it's like taboo. But we had a COVID epidemic, right? We had an opioid epidemic in this country too.
Yeah.
These big pharma guys and whoever company guys, they were writing that shit out like it was Tic Tacs, and it's sad, and because of this pandemic, I heard that all these overdoses were up like tenfold,
Crazy.
But here's a little irony, and we can tie the two subjects together, right? Fucking let's get Mikey. I fucking love him. And my boy. So, so we were talking about. I was talking about tying both ends together. You would always hear the old true school mafiosos, anti-drugs, no drugs, no drugs. They would, and even the guys, the underlings would say, "Don't bring this up." And you used to tell us how the guy would be on the slide, "Yo, Jimmy, get me a dime bag," or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think all wise guys dealt in drugs. I know a lot of wise guys because you know what? It was easy money. You know what? You get a nice shipment in. You know what? You make tons of money, millions of dollars. But I think some wise guys were against selling drugs.
You see, the Europeans, from what I know and what I read, was different culturally. In other words, the American mafiosos looked down upon that, like you see in The Godfather. But in Europe, where Carmine Galante was taking it in or rerouting it through Toronto, he was a boss.
And Carmine Galante, and that's another thing. You know what? Word was that he didn't want to share.
Oh,
he didn't want to share his drug business. He had a lot of babanya coming in, and a couple of people wanted to get a piece of his connection.
And let me tell you something. He he put, from what we read in the court documents and all those other transcripts, he was putting that whole caper together and keeping that pipeline going when he was in prison. Because he was, now here's the other thing. If this is what I always questioned, if like Angelo Ruggiero and his brother Sal and Gotti, who was responsible for his brother stealing drugs, okay, Big Paul. That's why they killed him, because they were afraid they were going to get whacked. If I'm correct, if I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah, because there was paperwork and there was tapes that were going to come out. Them talking about Big Paul, them having something to do with the drug business, you know, and Angelo Ruggiero, you know, he did a lot of talking over the phone, but you know, that's why one of the reasons why they all teamed up, you know.
So my question is to you and the audience, your audience, if anybody wants to feedback, if everybody, if the idea was drugs are no good, why didn't Paul? Because Paul definitely knew that Galante was doing that back in the day, and he didn't get killed for dealing drugs. You said it right. He got killed because he wasn't sharing the cut. Am I right on that?
Well, I think you know, he got killed because, you know, he was making tons of money. And you know, he didn't want to you know, see other guys earn too. I'm saying, you know, give that connection up. But there's, you know, there's a lot. Look, there's a couple of reasons why they killed Galante. I'm saying, but you look at that murder, and what do you see? You see the guy who killed him. Eventually, they killed him too. I'm saying, so it's just like there's no trust in that life.
It's horrible, and all they talk about is how
because
they are.
Yeah, because we know Caesar was the one who killed them.
Yep.
Okay, and then they kill Caesar. So I mean, there's no trust in that life. You know, it's insane. But and the thing is, why would anyone want to be involved in it? You know, I mean, what we know now today, you know, from the past, why would anyone want to be involved in it when you could just open up your own business, be your own boss? You know, why would you want to answer other people?
I think the difference might be because the mob was so strong back then, and they had the politicians and the judges in their pockets, so they were wielding that power. And then Giuliani came in and says, "You know what? I'm going to grab the government's power back. You guys are done." And he did the big RICO sweep. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but you know what? Those times were so much different. You know, you had the laws with you. There was more trust. Being a wise guy, it meant so much more. Respect, honor. I'm saying, I mean, and then the mob started going downhill. I'm saying, because you know, they started with the drugs. That's one thing that really killed the mob. Sure. And then you know what? Killing your best friend. There's no more trust. I mean, now you're playing a chess game. Every day of your life, you're playing a chess game. You know,
it's more like Russian roulette.
Yeah, who can you trust? And in that life, you know what? You really can't trust nobody. You know, I've been watching a TV show called Gomorrah.
I haven't gotten into it. How is it?
I tell you, it's great.
No shit.
Yeah, you got to watch it.
And, was it on Netflix or Amazon or something?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a great show. You got to check it out. It's like 5 seasons. You got to start with season 1. I'm telling you, it gets deep and deep, and it's an awesome show, man.
So I love when they grab you, these shows.
I recommend that to everybody out there. Gomorrah. I'm telling you, it's a great show about the mob in Italy, and it really is. It's awesome. So check it out.
Jimmy giving a free plug to Gomorrah. They should pay your rent next month.
Yeah.
For you. But you touched on something too. I think that if we had a survey and we talked to people that been affected by somebody or somebody they know who's died or has been affected by a drug overdose, a lot of us would raise our hands. So yeah.
Well, I could raise my hand because I had some friends and some family members of their children who overdosed on drugs, you know, and it's just a sad thing. And the thing is too, you know what, when your children overdose on drugs, a lot of parents, some of them don't want to talk about it, you know.
Guilt, I suppose. It's a horror.
Yeah, it's a horror. It's just, you know, it's just so sad because you know, you don't realize that not only are you hurting yourself, but people who really care about you. You know, think about the people who care about you. You know, God forbid something was to happen to you, and
God forbid.
and it happens all the time. We see this. You know,
Yeah,
it's just really
absolutely.
it's sad that it's been going on for a long time.
The sad thing is, and I have to draw the line. When you're young and you're stupid and you're experimenting with things, you don't know. But these kids that they don't know, and they're being taken advantage of, like big time. Like you said, listen, back in the day, if you were on the corner and you were buying weed, you knew you were buying weed. If you were buying powder, you were buying powder. These kids think they're buying something and they're getting that bullshit fentanyl, like you said.
Again, the
That's fucked
fentanyl,
up.
and you know, you take that fentanyl. Listen, I know a few people in the last couple of years who passed away from overdosing, and you know what's insane? One kid I was with maybe a day before you know, he did drugs or something and he overdosed. I was like, wow, I was just with this kid, you know, and the kid overdosed. I was like, you know, wow, it's just insane. It really, it's crazy. And you know, I don't want to see, you know, people destroy their lives. And then, you know, sometimes you see these videos of, you know, parents with their children, and they're actually taking drugs, and their parents shaking them, and they're dozing off, and the parents shaking them, mom, dad, you know. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
don't have kids. If you're on drugs, don't have kids. I mean, give your kids a great life. You know, these are just, you know, sad things to see. And if, you know what, I go open up someone's eyes and, you know, make them see themselves, you know what, you know, clean yourself up, fix yourself up. I mean, you know, it's not worth it.
Good for
Stay
you,
and
Jimmy.
live the best life you can. You know, I mean,
This,
listen,
I was gonna say this isn't a dress rehearsal. We get one shot at this thing called life.
that's it, one shot. You know, and the thing is, listen, life is so short. It really is. So you know, I appreciate the people in your life. It goes by so fast. You know, look, I was just a kid. I mean, in my 20s. Look, I'm 52 now. I mean, you know, listen, it goes quick. To all you kids out there too, you know what? Enjoy your youth. It goes quick.
I was saying to my nephew yesterday. I had a, like you said. Thank you for asking about my sister. I was at a repass yesterday, and I said to my nephew, who's 18 years old. I said, life is like chunks of 10. All of a sudden, 10 years has gone by, and then 10 years has gone by. I said, once I hit 25, it was like, wow, wait a second. I'm not going to make it to 100. And the first quarter is over already. And I didn't even get started in life. So I'm like, I ain't playing 4 quarters, bro.
That's why you have to make the best of your
Fucking
life.
A. Let's get
Right.
together. Let's be
Exactly.
healthy. And you know what? We got to stop saying, wow, he's fucked up. And a lot of people attack people. You know what? I try to, somebody told me something a long time ago. Never look down on a drunk or a drug addict unless you're helping to pick them up off the ground. Because that could be you someday, or somebody you love someday, or your brother or your cousin. And a lot of times it wasn't that way. We just, you know, people would, what's the word I'm looking for? Stigmatism, you know?
Stigmatized.
Yeah, like someone's like if
people.
yeah, like you're a leper. You know, some people have battles with addiction. I went through my phases with certain things in life. I'll tell everybody flat out, I don't drink. Drinking is not my cup of tea. It's not my choice, you know?
Yeah.
When I drink, everything seems like a good idea.
Well, you know what? That's the thing. You know, look, if you want to have a drink, you know, if you could control yourself, that's fine. You know what?
Absolutely.
If it's going to be a problem, stay away from it.
So I just say, listen, I pour glasses of wine the right way. You know, I enjoy people's company. I don't shield myself. I made a choice, or the choice was just like you said, life goes in. I lost my mother at a young age, you know, heartache and shit, the way she lived her life. And you know, God bless my dad. He's without a drink for over 30 years. And so I had that power of example to look what was going on, you know, and if it wasn't for him, who knows? I could have fell straight down the. I had a lot of people rescue me, bro. I told you I was a wild guy, but I'm not, and I don't live that way. And it's been decades, over a decade since I've had a drink.
Well, that's good.
It's truth be told,
So,
God interrupted my life,
yeah, so,
interrupted my death.
yeah. Well, you know, Thank God you got another day. Every day you just got to make the best of it.
Yeah, you're right.
So what do you think? Who do you think the best the boss? I know there's a couple of the mob. Out of all the bosses, what do you think?
I know this is not going to be popular with a lot of people, but I really think Paul Castellano was a good boss.
Really?
Yeah, and only this. Listen, was he a gangster? Was he a tough guy? No, but he was an administrator. In the sense that he was opening up the unions. He continued to. Carlo wouldn't have picked him if he thought he was a schmuck. If everyone thought Carlo Gambino was a great boss, he never would have picked Paul. He had other family members. He had sons. Follow?
A lot of people thought that Anelio de Gratz should have had it.
Mr. Neal.
Instead of Big Paul. Because they say Big Paul wasn't a street guy.
No.
No. I mean, and so,
I always think of like, when I look at The Godfather, because most people who don't know, who aren't in the mafia or around the mafia doesn't know the hierarchy or the structure. So you look at, let's say, the boss in the mafia. Was he a street guy? I think everyone has to be a street guy at some time. Otherwise, you don't get in back then. So, but Paul made a choice to be a gangster. His parents had a butcher shop, and they had all this money, and they, he wasn't poor. He wasn't a poor immigrant, is what I'm saying.
Well, he was related to Carlo in some way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was through marriage. I'm not sure, but something like that. So Carlo figured, let me just give it to Paul. But he didn't realize that when he gave Paul to become boss, he didn't realize he gave him a death sentence.
Oh, yeah. Who wants that seat?
Exactly. I'm saying,
But I think that, well, Paul's vision was this, and this is from a lot of things I read and watching documentaries. Paul was like, this violence is no good. That's why he wanted to get rid of DeMeo.
Let me get Eddie G. Stay right there.
Yeah,
let me put Pete on here too. Let me see what Pete has to say.
Okay, yeah.
Hey man, how you doing?
How's everything?
What's up, Pete?
Hey man, I love your show.
Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And hi, Eddie.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. No, I'm listening, and I'm just gonna say that people have become mean, man.
Of course, yeah.
People have become mean. I mean, I was just in the store, and I'm 6 feet away from the lady. It was only a few people in there. She just turns around and she says, you're making me really, really nervous. Please, you're making me really nervous. Go back away. I said, I'm 6 feet away. Just everybody has turned mean. And I think and one thing that helped it is this new technology we have. This.
Yes.
I mean, it's a blessing and a curse.
Pete, how old are you?
64.
64. So you're an old school guy. And where you from?
I'm from the Bronx.
Okay, the Bronx. Okay.
Yeah.
And, so look, back in the day, you have your experiences in life. You're 64 years old. Now, these young bucks, they don't know, you know what? They don't know what it is to make it to 64. I'm saying, I mean, you're 64. You experienced, a lot of things in your lifetime. I'm 52. I experienced a lot of things in my lifetime. As we get older, we're going to experience more and more. And how we look at things today with technology. Now, back in the day, if you came out of your mouth, you had to put up your hands. There was a beef. I'm saying, I mean, now you have the internet, so everyone's freely to talk. You know what I'm saying? Because, no one ever got punched in the mouth.
No, and they say some really.
And there's no more respect. There's no respect no more.
No. I guess I listen to your shows, and I can see how that lifestyle would, it's no more. I don't think it's that lifestyle is gone, as far as the way it was. I could see that it was like that in the neighborhood. You had certain people that kept the neighborhoods in check, so to speak. And Now it's just a free for all. Everybody is. It's just a free for all. No respect. You know, I could get on this computer and then I could say anything I want about you,
Oh, yeah,
your
no,
family.
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. It's
You know,
crazy.
and the thing is, you know what? But that shows you a lot about the person's character.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
go. I mean, you could go back uh, 30, 40 years ago, how times were, and how people were classy. You know, they respected you. You respected them back, and you acted accordingly. If someone disrespected you, you disrespected them. If someone pulled out their hand and you shook it, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. You know, I mean, you grew up, and also,
Yeah.
you know, when we were kids too, you know, we grew up a lot different. You know, listen, you had a when you walked the streets, you had a fight at some time in you know, growing up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
And your parents gave you a little crack here and there to, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
to discipline you. There's no
We-
discipline.
Yeah.
The kids
You
know.
called it a beating. My dad. I got a beating from my dad.
No, listen, and you know what? Look, Sean Penn actually
My
just
life.
look. Sean Penn just made a comment about this about growing up in America. The men, they're not making men anymore. I'm saying seriously. And you know what? Years ago, as you know, things were a lot different. Now today, like you said, you could just come on the computer and you say what you want. You know,
You
and
know,
you're not
I'm
accountable,
sorry.
accountable for what you say. You're not responsible for what you say. And you have these trolls that don't show their face,
Yeah.
and they could say anything they want about you. Meanwhile, they don't know you. They never met you before in their lifetime. And,
Nope.
you know, they're allowed to say anything.
Mm.
You know, I mean, it's pretty sick.
It's, you know what? It's like everybody pushes their own agenda these days. I don't know how freely I can speak on this platform, but it's just a lot of bullshit.
No,
And you're supposed to accept it.
yep, it's a truth.
You know, yeah, you're supposed to, this bullshit that these agendas that are being pushed, and it's so much nonsense, man. And if you don't like it, then you're wrong. You know, you're wrong. But anyway, thank you for letting me be a part of the show.
Absolutely.
And I'll come on next time because I watch this every Sunday, man.
Hey, Pete. Hey, it was nice meeting you.
Nice
All right.
meeting
It
you,
was nice meeting you too, Eddie.
You good,
And
brother.
Jimmy. Enjoy.
Pete, take care of yourself.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, Jim,
Bye.
let me ask you, who do you think is the worst boss? We've talked about the best boss. Who do you think the worst boss was?
The worst boss out of the mob?
Yeah. Yeah.
The worst boss out of the mob would definitely have to go to Gas Pipe.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I would say. I
You
would
know
say
what?
he would have to be the worst boss.
I was thinking either Joe Messina or Gas Pipe,
Well,
but you just woke. It was Gas Pipe. He was whacking people for no reason.
yeah, I think it might have been Gas Pipe.
That's like making Roy DeMeo the boss, making Gas Pipe the boss.
Yeah.
Fucking wackos, man. Oh man, I had a long week, bro. Oh, I told you, right? I had that audition thing.
Yeah, yeah. How'd that go? You were telling me about that.
So I talk about Murphy's Law. You know, whatever can go wrong will. Now they do these read and greets via Zoom. And I didn't have my Zoom thing set up or whatever. I got my sides like an hour or two before the actual audition. And so I'm like, okay, I'm memorizing lines as fast as I can do, and I have to do like trying to get the rust off, get my brain clear, and trying to get some peace and quiet, like in my house, so no one bothered me. You know, it was an important time. What do you know? That never happened. Noise in the background. So I said to the lady, she's like, so are you warmed up? Are you ready to go? And I said to her, I'm as warm as the Titanic right now. She started laughing. I said, my fucking cat locked me out of the house. I said, my fucking roommates are making noise. I said, I'm getting bad news on the family side. I said, yeah, so let's get through this. And she's like, don't worry about it. Calm down. And it went okay. I mean, I did it to dive into the water. I don't want to stick my toe in this thing. If I'm going to go on an audition, I'm good, whether I'm prepared or not. What you want to do is you want your personality to be displayed. Not, you know what I'm saying? Not just all your skill and all these actors try. I was talking to Graffiti Mouth earlier, and we were having a nice conversation about acting.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Bro, he knows his shit. He's fucking knows his shit, bro.
He's good. He really
no,
is.
he's a little bit better than good, bro. He's good. He knows it. You're being nice.
He knows all about all that stuff.
And I said to him, coach me up, bro. Coach me up, man.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing where I was taught is it's not competitive. Don't be that competitive entertainer actor. Like, oh, I hope I get it, or that that's not my spirit. I try not to be envious or jealous. I'm grateful for an opportunity, and I connected with some old people that I haven't talked to in a while. And it was kind of crazy how in just a short period of time, the whole industry has changed. You have to you have to do this on Zoom, and I don't know. It's like,
Eddie, hang on. Let me put a Pazzo on.
Go ahead.
Pazzo, hang on a minute. And yes, I did get a haircut. Miss can't be wrong.
You got them all cut.
Pazzo.
Hello, gentlemen. How's everybody doing?
How's everything?
Everything's fine. How are you guys?
Good.
What's going on? What's happening?
I like
Hi,
your
Jimmy.
I like
Hi,
your
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How you doing, Eddie?
Pretty good. How you doing, Pazzo?
I'm doing all right.
Glad to hear it.
Kind of an interesting subject we got going on here now. Who's the best boss? By far, Carlo Gambino beats them all hands down.
Yeah, Carlo Gambino.
In my opinion, because he kept the family going okay. He's low key, and the guy was just he was a real smart guy,
He was. Look, he was a very smart guy. I mean, we could talk about guys like Vito Genovese. We could talk about guys like Lucky Luciano.
That's another one right there. He's probably the baddest of them all right there.
Those guys of that time were definitely the best. Those were the best.
Absolutely.
Because at that time, that's when the mob, honor. You had honor.
No doubt about it. That's when it was a total different animal back then. This life's been over for a long time. Long time.
Your word meant everything back then.
I mean, I remember my dad as a young boy, and I'm going to tell you something. A different animal altogether. Class act, a man's man, tough guy, dressed well, never swore. I mean, he swore, but you know what I'm talking about? It wasn't every other word. Just a class act altogether. But I tell you, you mess with this guy, and you're going to find out what it's all about.
Absolutely.
It's just a totally different animal back then. Now, I don't even think there's anything left, to be honest with you. I mean, what's out there? I mean, even the guys, I'm up from the 413 up in Springfield, Mass., and we had a really strong arm of the Genovese crime family up here. And I mean, these guys, there was probably about a dozen made guys locally. And plus all the associates. But let me tell you, we had Sam Kafari up here. Let me tell you, wow, these guys were the real deal. Class act. Some of them spoke broken English and all that kind of stuff. But, this guy would not allow any drugs in our city at the time. And let me tell you something. If you got caught, any of the Italians got caught screwing around with the stuff, you were gone. Wow. No ifs, ands, or buts. But just a totally different animal. Gentlemen, you never would really tell the difference unless your number was up. But like I said, growing up in it, around it, and it's just a totally different animal. I don't even think there's anything left anymore.
Well, nothing compared to those days, anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the 70s, and even the very beginning of the 80s. It was still, and some groups, going up until like the early '90s, there was still something,
and then we have another subject. We were also discussing, all these drugs out there with this fentanyl, all these young people
Jimmy,
on drugs.
You know what it is? Is they're lacing the heroin with it. You don't know what's in the stuff you're really getting, and all it takes is a bad shot and you're all done. It stuff's no good. And it also makes the heroin cheaper too. I mean, it's cheaper. The fentanyl is very cheap. And it's very.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know what? Like, I don't know. I was watching a video on these two people that actually are addicted to drugs somewhere in Philly, and they do fentanyl. Like, they know how much to do.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, it just takes a little just to overdose and die. But the thing is, these people continue to keep on doing it.
Well, and that's it. I mean, there's a lot of people. I know this sounds crazy, but from what I've understood, is a lot of people even like that. They like the fentanyl. They like the effect that has. But if you just take a little bit too much, and I mean a little bit, it's not. I mean, a grain of salt more than you should, you're done. It's dangerous, and it's sad, Jimmy. It's just a sad thing.
And it really is sad because, look, when it comes close to home and it happens to someone you know or someone you love, God forbid.
Oh God, yeah.
That's it's the end of the world for you.
Yeah,
it is. And I hate to say this, but I've known some people that have gone to. It's so sad. Their families. It's horrible, man. It really is. And I mean, I implore anybody who's got anything to do with this crap, this garbage, to get away from it. Get some help, man. There's people everywhere that will help you. Get off this shit, because I'm gonna tell you, man, you're gonna go. It might not be tomorrow, but another week, another year. I'm gonna tell you, the shit's no good, guys. Please, if you're got something to do with this, you need to get away from it. You really do. And there's help out there. Get some help, man. Get some help, please.
Yeah,
I've known too many people, Jimmy. It really is. And then you leave your loved ones behind, or your kids even, or your wife, your kids, your parents who love you to death.
What? And the thing is, you look at drugs, and all it does is destroy lives.
It does, Jimmy. You know something? I'd rather get shot in the head, to be honest with you, than die from that stuff. I swear to God, I would. That stuff's horrible, man.
Yep.
I've known so many people that have unfortunately gotten mixed up in this crap. I'm sure you guys have too. I'm sure everybody knows somebody. Yep. It's just really sad, Well, I would do anything to help anybody if I could. I've tried, and believe me, sometimes you can try until you're blue in the face, and they don't want to listen, man. They don't want to change. I don't know what to say about it, but sometimes it needs an intervention.
Let me interject for a quick second. And it's not always that easy. In other words,
no, it's not, Eddie. It's not.
Some people want to quit and just don't have the power.
Yeah.
Or haven't been shown how to access the power. So this is not a death sentence. It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be. You're right. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes we have to raise people's bottoms up. So in other words, we don't have to let them crash and burn. We can do an intervention, like you said. And you know what? Our intervention can be the loving hand of God. God doesn't need our permission for have him to use us. We don't need to sign off on that. God says, you know what? There's something connecting me, or I'm noticing something about somebody for a reason.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. And when I hear Jimmy talk about the God thing, and I like to say something to all these people out there.
Yeah.
What Jimmy's talking about as far as the God thing, man, I'm going to tell you something. He's real, and he's out there. And I'm going to tell you, if you just give yourself over a little bit, I don't mean to sound, like some people think, you sound like a twit or something like that. It's not, man. Once you get together I'm telling you, God is really important to be in your life. He can change your whole life around if you just let it happen.
And the thing
Get
is,
out of the way.
Look, and the thing is, like, these people, They don't realize, you know what? He gives you so much more strength.
Strength, absolutely, man.
You know?
He really does. He really does. You know, and I mean, I don't mean to sound a little
And
weird,
that's
but
but you know what? Look, that's our parents. Our parents, you know, brought us that tradition from them. I'm saying going to church, you know, going to catechism, you know
big
what?
time.
You know, being baptized. And, you know, we have to teach it to our children too, but you know, you got to
Absolutely.
You're right, Jim.
pass it on. You
You're
know,
right. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm constantly talking, you know, God with my boys and my daughter, and you know, they're very receptive to that, and I'm very fortunate that they do feel that way, because you're going to get a lot of people who are just going to think it's a bunch of hooey. It's not. It's not a bunch of hooey, man.
Tell
God
me
is
that.
very real.
Absolutely. See, one of the misconceptions is that people don't understand, and they think they can understand the power like that. And I say, you don't have to understand the power to use it. You don't know why electricity works, but yet you rely on it.
You got it.
You flick the light, and all of a sudden, how's electricity get into my house and put a bulb on and do all this shit? You know what I'm saying? Wait, I cut myself. I'm sleeping.
It's
How's it
amazing.
heal?
The power of God is amazing.
So it doesn't
You know.
come in burning bushes all the time and shit like that. It
No.
comes in little things like, hey, I got a job offer. Hey,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not, you know, certain things happen and little miracles happen, and God connects the dots.
Absolutely,
You just
man.
have to chop, you know, carry water and chop wood.
Best
As
thing
one
ever.
man told
Best
me.
thing ever. You know, and you know, I not to change the subject or anything. I know you probably want to get into there, Jimmy. Probably got a million guys behind me.
that's all
But
right.
you know, you know, I was very fortunate, and I kind of mentioned this to Jimmy at one point. Maybe I texted it to you, Jimmy. I don't know if you remember. It was on Messenger. That, you know, back in 1989, I think. You know, I had gone to a place in Yugoslavia called Medjugorje, where you know, the Virgin Mary is supposedly appearing to 6 children. And let me tell you something. She's there. She was there. I went there with my mother and father and my cousin Darren Izzo. I don't know if he's hearing me right now. How you doing, Darren? And his mother and father was my aunt and uncle. And it was the best. It was the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. And some of the things that I experienced when I was there, she's there. It's real. I gotta
I
back
saw
off
something
because
in
I'm
the
gonna start
comments.
crying right now. So I'm gonna
Amen.
back off. I don't want
Amen.
to sound like some
Amen
pussy,
is
but
right.
I'm gonna start crying a little bit here. So I gotta
That's-
chill out.
Listen, hey,
You know.
that's your fate. You know,
Jimmy,
No
I
matter-
swear to God, she's
no
there,
matter where-
man. She's
listen,
there.
look, wherever
I
you
appreciate
go,
it.
wherever you go in life, your fate never leaves you.
The
No,
things I saw there was just, I have to. It's a long, drawn out story. It's not drawn out, but it's a long story, and I can tell you right now for a fact that what I experienced was real, and it was, even though it wasn't natural, the things I experienced, there's no doubt about it that this stuff knocked me on my ass, you guys. She's really there, and
I
that
believe you.
really got my God thing going. And you know, over the course of time now, you know, I'm not as I hate to say this stuff. I wasn't as religious as I was at that point because I had gone through a lot in my life. You know, I spent some time in a can. You know, I took I got myself in some real hard trouble when I was younger. You know, I used to carry a gun. I used to do all that shit. You know, and I had some pretty tough friends. Some of them are not here anymore, unfortunately. It's similar to what Jimmy's gone through in his life, and I can tell you that how much that hurts. I know how much that hurts, Jimmy. I know how much that stuff is in your head. It's really hard, and I understand that, bro. So God is going to help you through that, bro. This is going to be the difference now. He's going to be the difference maker.
listen, he does every day. You know.
Oh God, Jimmy, you know, stick with it, bro, because he's real. It's real.
Absolutely.
You know, and people don't think that. You know, they think, it's a bunch of hooey and this and that. It's not a bunch of hooey. You know, you're gonna for whatever you give in, as much as you're gonna get back. So you guys,
Amen.
you know, if you're hearing me out there, amen. Stick with it because it's real. God's the real deal. What I experienced in Medjugorje with the Blessed Mother, I'm gonna tell you, she's there. And the things that I experienced would knock your socks off. You wouldn't even believe some of the things that I experienced. We were there for 2 weeks. And, oh my God. Okay, I know you want to get off, Jimmy. It's okay.
You could. I mean, if you want, you can stay on. I could put another one on too, if you want.
I could jump off, Jim.
for a little while, if it'd be okay.
You want to stay on, Pazzo?
Yeah, if it's okay.
Eddie,
for a
stay
little
on.
bit.
Eddie, stay on.
Yeah.
Stay on. Lou,
Okay.
hang out a minute, okay? Big Lou, hang out. What's up, the New York Dad?
All right.
What's up?
What's up, man? How's everything?
Good. How are you?
I see you showing off those all those sneakers.
I'm a sneaker YouTuber.
Oh, hey, look at that, man. Look
Nice.
at all those sneakers. Is those all your sneakers, man?
I'm a sneaker YouTuber.
All right.
really?
I like
Wow, that's
that.
pretty cool.
I don't know if Jimmy, if you remember me. We used
I
to
don't.
have a tattoo shop on I think it was Bay 14th and Bath.
Okay.
You know where the fish store was?
Oh,
What is that, Bay 17th or Bay 14th?
yeah, that's a long time ago.
Right next door to the fish store, we had a tattoo shop there. You guys
Okay.
should come in there.
Okay.
I think Tommy came in there a few times to get the number fixed on his leg.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
so what's your channel?
Oh, I'm the New York Dad.
New York Dad, is that your channel?
That's my channel.
And what do you do? You got all sneakers?
I help people that are into sneakers, and I help them try to get them for retail price. Because
Okay.
nowadays it's a little tricky. You know, you don't want to pay $300, $400, $500 for a pair of sneakers. You want to pay what's going for on retail.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
sneakers today are a big thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
it's a really
Expensive.
big thing.
Wow,
Expensive, too.
But
And
yeah,
they probably cost $10 to make.
they're maybe not even that much.
Yeah.
$5.
What do you think? What do you think about the Yeezys?
The Yeezys are they're comfortable.
Oh, he's got a pair right there. Look at that, man.
They're
Look at that.
comfortable.
Yeah.
They're very comfortable. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
collect
I want a pair.
because, you know, Michael Jordan was the man in our
The
day.
goat, bro. He's the goat.
Yeah. So that's what I
Absolutely.
collect mostly is Jordans. And
Michael Jordan, man. Come on.
instead of putting my money into a bank where it makes $1 a month interest, I'll buy a pair of sneakers and make $300 in a week interest.
That's great.
Wow. No kidding.
That's great.
It's all right. For a minute, I thought you were selling them.
This
Looks
is,
like you were selling them.
this is for when I go. This is something for the kids to have when I leave.
That's a great. Hey, well, hopefully that's a long time from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy, you know, I'm from the neighborhood. I'm from Avenue U.
Okay.
I'm a couple of years younger than you, and I was on the drug dealer side of the coin
Okay.
in the neighborhood, and all I knew what the rules were: stay away from the Bath Avenue crew.
I'm
That's the
sure.
rules. Stay away
Absolutely.
from the Bath Avenue crew, and you'll be all right.
Oh shit.
I'm sure.
That's
all right.
fucking plain and simple,
Look out for
bro.
those,
Straight up.
those guys, man.
Straight up,
All right.
we spoke about it all the time. It was, you know,
No joke.
guys knew what I was doing. I was best friends with Charlie Badalamenti's son, Raymond.
Of course. Oh,
Rest
all
in
right.
peace.
Old man Charlie. I know Old man
Yeah.
Charlie very well.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Old man Charlie is originally on the 18th Avenue.
But he
over there. And now they got the cafe over there in every U. I know the son.
still well, and they have another one on Avenue.
Yeah.
And you know, it was hard in the '90s. It was hard. It was hard.
Yeah.
When I hear Jimmy talking about killings and people going, you know, doing whatever it was the Wild Wild West in Bensonhurst in the 90s. The Wild Wild West. And you know, I ended up doing all of that. I went to jail. Did about 6 years. I had a life bid because I got caught with drugs. Yeah, the Brooklyn DA had a whole budget out on my case. They had a budget on my case.
Wow.
Forget about it. And I went to jail. I had a 6 to life bid. Went to jail. Came home. Got a job with the city. Retired from a city job. And to me, a lot of these people, they don't change because they don't want to.
That's it.
If you still, I went to jail, came home, I saw the same people on the same corner doing the same thing.
Exactly. And,
Hey, there you go.
and they're still doing it.
And you know, I went back here and there, bullshit, little cases or whatever. And talking about the drugs, I ended up having surgery. I ended up, you know, falling into that for a little bit, but I got out of that. You know, that's an expensive habit.
God bless you for doing that.
You know what I mean? I have kids.
Not easy.
And, you know, I
know the feeling, believe me.
Jimmy, you know, you take a lot of heat for a lot of shit. And, you know, you take a lot of heat from people that don't know you.
Exactly.
That never lived our life. They don't know what we went through in that neighborhood.
I can't stand it. No kidding.
As you can tell,
he does.
I'm not Italian.
Don't have to be.
But I speak more Italian than Spanish people do, or than anybody else does. I grew up Italian. Okay? Color of my skin didn't let me be involved in everything, but I knew the rules. And I never broke the rules. And you know, it is what it is. We lived a rough life, and to me, I will never ever take anything back that I did. I will never ever regret anything that happened, because I learned a lot. And you know, the funny part is always, you know, that I always wanted to tell you that, Jimmy. The rules are stay away from the Bath Avenue crew.
Yeah.
You were gonna come home in your underwears. We used to joke around. If you went into the Bath Avenue crew, you're either gonna get killed or you were gonna come home in your drawers. Because
and you know what? That's how it is. And the thing is, look, you know what? People don't realize, look, what I did as far as cooperating with the government, because I got to bring this up. Look, people got to understand that I went away of May 93. So my crimes are from May 93 back, 92, 91, 90. So after they killed Paulie G, okay, now you got Tommy Reynolds and Joey Calco running rampant. Okay, Fabrizio gets straightened out later on, you know. But these guys,
those boys were wild.
You know, Joey Calco ends up killing an 18-year-old kid.
They're tough kids, man.
Yeah. But you know, in those days, look, that's how the kids were coming up, saying you had to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, and you grew up fast.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't grow up fast, then you ended up in a casket. You know, that's just the way it was.
And you had to have, listen, you had to trust your friends, because if you didn't trust your friends, you definitely were going to get got by somebody in the neighborhood. Somebody was going to get you in that neighborhood. So you had to
back then,
a little tight little circle, and you had to protect each other and defend each other. Whatever happened, you had to be there for each other.
Yep.
And today, you're not going to get none of that today.
No, you're not going to.
No way. You got nothing like that today. Nothing like that today.
Yep.
Nothing.
And
nobody knows what it is to be loyal anymore. That's all gone.
I'm going to be 48. I'm going to be 48 next year. Next month, not next year. Next month, I'm going to be 48.
Oh, 48. Okay. Happy birthday.
I'm never going back. I'm never going back to the neighborhood. I know you go back to the neighborhood. I had a lot of bad experiences. You did your little video about the Gemini Lounge.
Yes.
Almost lost my life there.
Wow.
And I'm not even from that neighborhood. I went there on a humble. Somebody was throwing a party. I didn't want to go, and they forced me to go there.
How's the story?
I knew what the Gemini Lounge was all about, and I was forced. Oh, come on, you gotta go.
Wow.
As soon as I walked in, I know there was a bartender. There was an old guy. He had one eye.
Dracula.
Had a patch on his eye.
Yeah, I think so. Dracula. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I bet Dracula was gone by 82, 83.
No, there was a guy behind the bar. I remember that night with a patch on his eye.
Yeah, that's who lives upstairs. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Started
Dracula.
A fight breaks out, and I get stabbed up. I got gutted. I'm talking about they ripped me from the top of my thing all the way up to my belly button.
Wow.
And he said, Jimmy said something the other day too. You know, when things like that happen,
wow,
you got to take yourself to the hospital. You fall down, you're gonna die.
course, ASAP.
Nobody's gonna help you.
Yeah, because you're gonna bleed out.
I never forget. It was a big, huge snowstorm that night when that happened to me, and I walked out. And I remember I got in my car. I went home. I was gonna go upstairs and go to sleep.
Oh, good
I
thing.
never
You
woke
did
up.
it, man.
And I happened to live on Ocean Parkway at the time, right across the street from Coney Island Hospital. I walked myself to Coney Island Hospital. There was mountains and mountains of snow, and I tried to walk over the mountains. I said, if I fall down one of these mountains of snow, that's it. I'm dead. I'm dead.
Oh,
I remember
God,
walking
bro.
into the hospital and throwing myself on the gurney, and
Wow.
I told them my name. I told them I got stabbed, and that was it. That's all I remember. I came to.
Oh, my God, bro.
My mother was crying on top of me.
Wow.
And you know what? Listen, you're lucky to be alive.
Yeah. I knew that I had to get myself out of that neighborhood, just away from that bar, because I knew what used to happen in that bar. So I knew I had to get out of there.
Wow.
I knew I had to go back to my neighborhood.
And I'll tell you, and I'm gonna tell you, you know what? When we were hanging out in bars on Bath Avenue, whether we were in back streets, whether we were in Greg's Inn on Bath Avenue, or the American Legion on Bath Avenue, or Bay 50th, listen, we always had a gun on us or a knife. We always had a knife or a blade on us, because you know what? I mean, it's the only way you can protect yourself, because bars are trouble. I'm saying you have nothing but trouble. Even
Nothing but trouble. You got. I started selling drugs. No other than the Devil's Den itself, the Wrong Number Lounge.
there you go.
There you go.
And if somebody,
Baldy never found out. Baldy didn't know what I did.
yeah, you had a few people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a few people on the down low selling drugs out of there.
Yeah. So I used to go. I remember one day I went up. There was a payphone in the vestibule. As soon as you walked in, on the right hand side.
Yeah.
I remember one day I went to pick up the payphone to use the payphone, and I heard the feds on the other line talking to each other.
Oh shit.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I picked up the phone. I hear they're talking about the bar. They're talking about. I said, "What the heck is going on here?" I said, "No way! You gotta get out of here."
I'm telling you, every phone back then. Look, every pay phone back then was bugged.
Especially
Like Tommy Dade said. He said back then, if you were on the payphone, the wise guys would break your fingers on a Sunday.
Oh, Tommy Days, he was a good guy. I remember Tommy Days used to pick us up and used to take us in there and used to talk to us, see what was going on in the neighborhood. And then, yeah, go ahead, you can go home. I just wanted to see what was going on. We were young. We were like 16. We were young.
Tommy Dates.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Tommy Dates, good guy. Tommy Dates.
He's a good guy. But yeah, it's nice to see somebody from the neighborhood. I'm glad, Jimmy, you changed your life.
Yeah, thank you. So New York, Dad. So you're not in New York?
I'm in New York. I'm in Staten Island.
Okay, Staten Island. Right. I'll tell you something, but you got some collection over there.
Oh, this is nothing. This is what I want the camera to see.
I could imagine. That's pretty cool.
This goes all the way around.
That's pretty cool.
It's it's taken a lot of years, a lot of studying sneakers and knowing what to do, but I think I got it down. You know.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Hey, when
I
just
just started my YouTube channel. It's amazing how I don't even have 1,000 followers yet, subscribers yet, and all these, mob channels. That's what I call mob channels. They got thousands upon thousands of subscribers. It boggles my mind.
Yeah, a lot of people are intrigued with the mob.
We try to get away from that, and they want to know more about it.
But the thing is, you know, all these guys say that they're historian mob guys, but the thing is, listen,
Please.
they're not historian. It's all a bunch of
A
bullshit.
bunch of bullshit. You're right, Jimmy.
It's the experience. It's the experience of life that you live. Okay, because we could Google anybody's name and we could find out about them, everything.
Yep.
Okay, so there ain't no mob historians out there. It's all a bunch
There's
of
a lot of liars out there. There's a lot of liars. There's a lot of, you know, people. We all know who that is.
you know, if you did 10 years in prison and you lived on the street and you know, you got into trouble, you robbed banks and you know you did stick-ups, then you know what, I'll give you some credit. You change your life around, then you could talk about the street, you could talk about the mob and stuff like that. You know, but you know, everybody's into this mob shit today. And you know what, they really don't know much about it. Just know that
Nothing.
look, everybody mentions John Gotti and Sammy. In all honesty, it's old news.
That was before us anyway.
Old news. I'd rather talk about Al Capone, maybe Vito Genovese. Talk about the King.
Best boss.
Yeah, talk about Don Carlo.
Carlo Gambino.
There's thousands. Look, there's thousands of guys to talk about. You know, I mean, come on, seriously.
Carlo Gambino was the best boss ever, hands down.
Yeah,
I think so.
Look, he's he's one of them. You know, look, you had Lucky Luciano, you had Vito Genovese. I mean, look, even the Chin.
Bingo.
Look, Vincent the Chin, in all honesty, people don't realize, look, Vincent the Chin, that guy was the real boss of bosses. Vincent the Chin was the boss of bosses when he was a boss.
There was nobody more powerful than him at the time.
Look, Paul Castellano wasn't as powerful as him.
Nope.
This is a guy you got to remember. Look, this is a guy with Vito Genovese. Costello tried to take over, and the Chin is the one who shot Costello. You know, and then Costello, he had to step down. And that's when the Chin became the boss. But the Chin always put someone else in Front Street because he was
How fucking smart is that?
That's very smart. Vincent the Chin, think about it.
Well, to me, Carlo was good because he died in his house. He died in his house in his bed.
Listen, look, Carlo Gambino, you can't take nothing from him. That's why they named the family the Gambino crime family. You know why? Because he was definitely one of the smartest bosses in that family. You know, and then he waxed Albert Anastasia. You know, I mean, this guy was very smart, and you know, he didn't show people his emotions. He's very respectful. Honor was a big thing. He came from the homeland. You know.
Now you got to remember back then. Was there? I mean, like there's supposed to be an okay by the commission to take these big guys out like that. They must have had an okay to take out.
You're damn right he had an okay.
Absolutely had to.
Nobody wanted to deal with Albert Anastasia. They were all afraid of him. He was a mad hatter.
No doubt about it.
Something back. Look,
serious dude.
Look, if we talk about those days, you got to remember Murder Incorporated.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember Louis Lepke. Okay, Meyer Lansky was. Listen, you got to remember all these guys was running around. Albert Anastasia, he started selling buttons.
They owned Cuba.
Hey,
that's why he started selling buttons. I think is what it was.
Yeah, he started selling.
You're right, Jimmy.
I mean, you could pay to get into the mob. This guy money was everything. If you had the money, you know what? That's how it was. You know, you got the money. Okay, yeah, we'll make you, and then you know what? After we make you, we'll kill you. And look, and then you had Murder Incorporated. You go to Murder Incorporated, and they'll kill anybody for you. I mean, it's fucking crazy those times. Listen, you know how smart you had to be to stay alive at those times?
Treachery.
Absolutely. It's nothing like the guys today. I know that. Or what's out there.
Hey, but New York Dad, listen, hey, it was a nice meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, nice meeting you
guys.
How old
are you having me on?
How old are your kids?
Oh, I have 5 girls.
Wow, God bless you.
From 18 all the way down to 9. She'll be 10 next week.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, thank you. God bless everybody.
Yeah,
thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on. But listen, hey, stay in touch, okay?
Yeah, I will. I'll be around.
Take care of yourself, New York.
You guys also.
Thanks for coming on, baby.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Big Lou.
Big Lou,
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
There he
what's
is.
going on?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. Yeah,
I see you, cousin Tom.
I think the number one boss, I think, is the big Joe Badders,
Oh,
the big tuna.
Yeah, everybody
You know
forgot
what I mean?
about
I'll
Chicago.
tell you, you know what?
Yeah,
Look,
Yeah.
that's a guy.
right.
Look, that's a guy that made a name for himself. I mean, tough guy, smart guy. Never went to prison, right?
Never went to
No, I
prison.
don't believe so. No, he
And
He
did
ran
not.
that. He ran that outfit for 45, 50 years.
This is
Yeah,
a
in
guy.
and out.
This,
Yep.
this is a guy we hear about where someone burglarized his house. After they burglarized his house, it's like 10 people got killed.
Yep.
Imagine
they're
that.
in a fucking plane in Chicago, bro.
No
Yeah, talk
joke.
about literally keeping your neighborhood safe and the riffraff out of there. Perfect
Oh, yeah.
example.
Insane.
He
You know what I
was
mean?
he was in and out of the top seat for, like you said, like 40 years. You know,
Yeah,
he was
and
in
then
and
he
out.
right, and then he put Giacana and different people in place.
Yeah,
You know, and he stepped back, but really he was the one pulling the strings. You know what I mean?
absolutely. He was the
So
man. Him and
yeah.
Paul Ricca. Paul Ricca.
But you know
too.
what? Common Sense made a good point in the comments. He said that Carlo and a lot of them other guys back in the day, they didn't have to deal with the RICO. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh,
And that
that's
played a
that's the
big
thing.
part. Yeah,
Sure.
that played a big thing with people
Rico
rolling.
has destroyed everything. That came
Rico
in
is
and
corrupt.
wiped everybody out, man. This Rico
Unconstitutional.
laws. And it's
Right,
got
right.
the draconian drug laws they have too. I know drugs ain't a good thing, but I mean, come on, some of these sentences are crazy.
Right.
It's all
And then
50 years, 100 years, 50
I mean,
years,
I don't
40
know how.
years. Come on.
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys feel on it, but the judges signing off on the warrants, the breaking in their warrants to place wiretaps and bugs on
Crazy.
people's properties and their businesses and their vehicles. I think that's all a crock of shit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
too.
You know, make the cops do their home, make them do their work, make them, earn that paycheck. You know,
No.
that's
Yeah,
what I think. But that's just me. You know, who am I?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Rico was the nuclear bomb to the
Well,
mafia.
but
Yeah, it was.
hey, to get off the subject, Lou, I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure you know people at one time who overdosed of drugs.
Yeah, I was gonna say that next. Yeah, even recently, I had a friend get out of prison, and within, I'm not sure. I know it was within a day, within a day, or I think it was 2 or 3 days. He went in the bathroom, did his thing, and never came out. You know, he died, and I don't even think it was laced with fentanyl or nothing. It was just the fact that he was clean, and
Straight up.
he probably had
Yeah.
a few beers, probably too. You know, I've been growing up seeing that shit all my life. People ODing, dying. You know what I mean?
man.
It's just when it got to the suburbs, that's when it became nationwide. It became in the media a lot more. But I've been seeing this stuff a lot. There's another.
If you get off the shit, for a while, and you decide to go back and say, hey, man, I'm gonna go I just feel like doing a little more. I feel like doing something. You're gone. Your body's not the same. If you get off the stuff and you go back and you try to do something that you've done before, you're like the same amount.
Same amount, yeah.
You
gotta.
They'll kill you.
You can't do that. I mean, you gotta literally whatever you're doing before, you gotta break it down probably a
Build up
fifth,
the tolerance.
to an eighth or something what you used to do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly, but
Absolutely.
yeah, it's dangerous, man. That's why they got these places where
Fuck
you can
that
go,
shit.
like San Francisco, where you can go and actually do your thing in a facility. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but the only reason they're doing this is so people, in case you do have a problem where you go out, somebody's there to help you, to save you from dying.
You got it.
I know people
You got
say,
it.
well, they shouldn't be doing it anyways, but you know what? We don't know the story. We don't know what's going on with them. And this shit's a lot closer to home than people want to admit.
Everybody's
what I mean?
different, man. Yep.
Yeah, but more people. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody. Just about everybody I know knows somebody, a family member or a friend that has an issue. You know what I'm saying?
You got
And
it.
like I said, it's a lot closer to home than people want to admit. But it's just it's crazy too. And I remember one time I was in the pen, man. This dude bought some shit from somebody. There was no fentanyl. I never heard of fentanyl at the time, but he did it. OD'd. They took him to the outside hospital, or they might have took care of him in house in the medical there. Brought him back. As soon as this guy got back to the yard, he was looking to go score again.
Oh,
He
see,
wanted
what
the
the
same
hell is
shit.
up
He
with
wanted the
that?
same stuff. So that shows you that people, it starts to take a toll on their mental too, in their mental,
Absolutely, bro.
stability. You know what I mean?
It's extremely difficult to get
crazy.
away from. It really is.
It's
It's
sad
difficult.
because
They go back 10, 20 years later, they go back and do it. What's up with that?
Well, you know what? This is the thing. You know what? Once you're addicted to it, it's so hard to get
Yeah.
off it. It's
Yeah.
It's bad, Jimmy.
It's the same thing with alcohol. You know what? Look, you know how strong you have to be to stop something. I mean, look at people smoking cigarettes, right? How hard is it to stop smoking cigarettes?
And that's very difficult.
You know,
Yeah.
I stopped for 3 years.
I'm
That's
having a hard time
fucking
quitting.
miracle.
I'm quitting. I'm trying to quit. I'm having a hard time as hell quitting cigarettes. I can't stand them. It's a filthy habit. It's gross. You know
what I
I
used
can't
to
wait
hear?
to get rid of it. I can't fucking break the habit.
You know what I
Smoke weed
used to hear?
instead. It's better for you.
I used to hear that it's not hard
That's
getting
like
Yeah.
smoking
clean. It's
cigars.
hard. It's not hard getting clean. It's hard staying clean. So that
Yeah,
was
no,
the
I'm talking
piggyback
about
off what Jimmy said.
just talking about cigarettes alone. Not even dope. Just cigarettes. I mean, God, it's so hard to break that habit. I can only
Right.
imagine how hard it is to
Yeah.
stop doing dope.
Right.
Oh my God.
Plus, you know, after doing jail time and you say you're gone for a couple years and you didn't touch it at all while you're in there, you would think that people wouldn't want to go back to that because of the rough ride it is to kick that shit. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
the
But
first thing they do when they get out. First thing they do.
yeah, sometimes. Well, if they don't have family and they're taking a bus and stuff like that, most likely by the time they get to where they're going,
and the thing is, Lou, you know how easy it is to get in there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got the money. Yeah, you got the money. It's there. You know what I mean?
Anything.
Yep. Yeah. Man, I've been on yards, man, where the yard was flooded with this crap. You know what I'm saying? They had
Oh yeah, man.
they had black. Well, we call it black over here. Heroin. They had crystal. Of course, the weed, and then the tobacco too. The tobacco in there is elite. It's not allowed now. So, you know, you got guys jonesing for that shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, they're paying $3 a cigarette. Little pinner.
Keep on
Pinner
talking. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, they're paying $3 for a pinner. You know, a pinner cigarette. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine that, man? Can you imagine that? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Holy
You know,
shit, right?
Yeah, you know, and the cell phones are a big thing in there. You know, you buy
I
a cell
heard
phone, you
you.
get hooked up with somebody that's working you know, a free staff person, and you might get it from a CO too, you know, but most likely, usually it's the free staff people working in the kitchen, or somebody teaching in the Voc, or you know, the plumber on the yard. You know, he takes guys around, and that's their job. You know what I mean? And you hook up with them, or the guy running the canteen. I seen a guy running the canteen in one prison I was at, and he got busted. The word was that when they went to search his car, they found over 50 phones in his car.
Oh my
shit.
God, are you
Yeah,
kidding
so
me?
I mean, I don't know how true
Shit.
that is, but I can believe it.
Yeah.
You know, I can believe that he brought in that many at some point. But you know, I don't know if he just had them on hand where he was able to, you know, when somebody ordered a couple phones, he just had them easy access. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's
How
big
long
money.
can how long can you use a phone like that though? I mean, is it you just got to
What?
have to keep paying on it, or do you?
Oh yeah,
do
you got to
just
pay the
use
bill. Yeah, you have somebody on the outside pay the bill. You know,
Yeah. Right.
and then
How do you fucking charge it when it runs out of power?
in your cell.
You know,
Your
they
cell,
have
you got
plugs you can plug. I mean,
Yeah.
a cell
Oh
phone.
yeah,
You have
there's
to.
plugs.
I mean, of
Yeah.
course you have to plug it into your wall, but I'm saying, wouldn't that be risky of doing that shit? You know, they do fucking.
Well, yeah, you always got. Yeah, you got to be on top of
Gotta
your
watch
game,
out.
man.
It's like
You
a
got to be on
fucking
top.
whole, yeah. Or get reception inside a prison.
Well, yeah, what they started doing was at this certain prison, you had to I don't know exactly how it went, but you had to either hit 411 or 911 to break this like blocker. And
Yeah.
so what happened was they started getting all these 911 calls from this prison from cell phones, and they end up getting a hold of the governor office and telling them, hey, you got a big problem over here with this. And so what they did was they put these blocker towers, you know, for the phone. So you have to sometimes, if you, and that prison was all dorm living too. So you got to find a place to actually get reception. You know what I mean? In the buildings.
That's why I
Big
asked.
Lou,
Yeah.
hey, Big Lou, how much time you do total? How much time you do?
Total, I did about I just counted the other day, a little bit short of 12 years altogether.
12 years. Now you were in cells and dorms, right?
Correct. Yeah, they changed the point system my last time going in, and I became a level 2, but it was cell living though, so that was cool because I prefer cell living.
Do me,
You know what I mean?
look, do me a favor, quick. Just tell the people out there, okay, when you first go to prison, the process of when you first get picked up, when you first go to a real prison, as soon as you walk in the doors.
So, okay, so you go into what they call, all prisons in California have R&R, which stands for receiving and releasing. So anytime anybody comes into the prison or leaves, they have to go through this area. Okay, so you walk in, they started undoing your shackles and all that as soon as you hop off the bus or the van. Our county's small, so usually we would come in a van, and you hop off, and they start taking our shackles off. Immediately, you start getting naked. You know what I mean? You're usually naked before you even walk in the door. And then you gotta obviously you gotta do your deal. Squat and cough. Run your fingers through your mouth, through your hair, your ears. Open your mouth, raise your tongue, all that. Turn around, spread your cheeks, cough, and then you gotta squat and cough, and then you gotta raise your feet, wiggle your toes, all that crap. And then there'll be a worker right there. He'll hand you your roll with your clothes you're gonna put on. And then usually they don't even want you putting the clothes on. They want you to keep moving. You're butt naked, walking through where you got nurses and a bunch of women all over the place. And they want you to walk into whatever holding tank you're going into, and then you get dressed. And then from there, you come in and out of there a few times to talk to the R&R sergeant, where he'll ask you if you got any, he'll ask you straight up, you got any, or who you run with. Usually they already know all that. So if you already been to prison, they already know when you get there. But if you're
as far as a gang, because in
right.
the West Coast, I mean, everything's gangs.
Yeah. If you hear people say that, oh, they ran on their own, or for the most part, that usually don't fly, because at some point your group segment's going to get into something. It might not be you, but you can't just sit down and say, oh, well, I'm not a part of that. I don't believe in that. If you don't jump when something kicks off, it's going to be your ass. You know what I mean? There ain't none of this. I came in alone, so it don't work that way. So it's it don't work that way. And so you're gonna jump. If you don't jump, then those guys, that whoever you are, and the way it works is this: if you're not black, white, or Mexican, or you don't even, because like me, I'm not Mexican, but I'm down as Mexican, right? So basically, if you don't run with one of those group segments, North, South, white, black, Paisa, which is Mexican national, then you're another. So any other nationality you can think of is considered another, right? So when something kicks off, you have to, if it's still that people that you're a part of, if something kicks off, you have to roll. There ain't no we'll talk about it later and all that crap. You know what I'm saying? And then what they do after they check you all out in R&R, you'll make it to a housing unit around a little bit before dinner, just before count. So about 4 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock. You eat dinner in about 5, and you'll be checked out, somewhat classified as far as your who you're compatible with, as far as your group segment, and then they'll put you in the cell, with somebody that's part of your.
Now the thing is, you know what? Okay, they put you in the cell. We know that. You start selling with somebody.
Yeah, leave the light on.
Hey, sometimes you will move into a dorm, but the thing is, tell the people out there of how many dry snitches are in prison.
Oh my
God! How many people on the down low are giving information? Okay, telling on other inmates, talking to the cops, giving people's everyday move. That's what they do.
Wow.
There's a whole bunch.
I'm surprised they even survive.
Yeah, that's all day in there. That's all day in there, bro. Otherwise, how you think these guys? Yeah, how you think IGI, which is the gang unit, or ISU,
they're being protected.
There you go. That's what it is. That's got to be what it is.
Yeah, so they got the gang unit, which is called IGI, and they got the ISU, which is considered an institution security unit. So these are the guys that they know some drugs are going to hit. They'll go get them. On the streets, it's called SSU. So anyways, yeah, these guys are getting information all the time. How do you think they know what's going on all the time? Because people, that's the thing, man. The people want to say, it's GP, everybody stand up. Bullshit, man. You got guys all day that are dropping kites in the fucking box. You know what I mean? You got guys that'll even go as far as, acting like they're writing a letter and then put information in the letter. And that's why the people that I ran with,
look, they're dropping notes every day. Yep. And giving information of what came in, where it is, and stuff like that. That's what they do.
And you got group segments over here that anything that you are sending out, if it's a medical form, if it's any type of request through the institution mail, any mail you're sending out, you have somebody, usually it's your guy, your cellie, they proofread your letter to make sure you're not telling them, you're not saying anything. So you could be in there talking about making love to your woman, and you got to let this guy read your shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's crazy, bro, because of this reason. Just what Jimmy said, people are dropping kites all the time. So it's misconception that GP yards are everybody stand up. Bullshit.
But
You
look,
know?
I got cousin Dom in here. Let me give him a little screen time.
Yeah, great. I'm good, Jimmy. You get some guy. I've been here a while now. Let him come out.
Hi, Pazzo. I'll see you soon.
Thank
Pazzo,
you,
Yep.
gentlemen.
All right, Pazzo.
To each
Thanks for
and all
coming.
of you, God bless. Okay, you
Nice
guys.
to meet you. Nice to meet you, Pazzo. Nice to meet you. Have a good day, brother.
Pazzo, thanks for coming.
Okay, love you, bro.
Love you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Okay.
You
got it.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
All right.
All right.
Jimmy, I'll jump off. Give somebody else a chance. I don't want to take up
Oh.
some time.
Well, that's good.
I went bigger.
Hey.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pazzo's a good guy. Thank you, Pazzo, for coming. I'm gonna bring cousin Dom on for a little. Just hang in there. So we get cousin Dom on there.
What's
Hey,
going on?
Cucino.
Hey,
Hey.
Cousin
What's
Dom,
going
what's
on,
up, buddy?
guys?
How's everything?
You know, it's all right. My voice is starting to come back, so I figured I'd come back and put my fat ass in the chair for a little bit. Come say what's up to you. I lost my voice for almost 2 weeks now. It's bullshit.
How's everything?
You know, it's good. You know,
How's the channel? How's the channel going?
channel's all right. I mean, everybody's staying loyal. It grew, even though I haven't been on, which was good. You know, everybody's good. Everybody's good.
All right, good.
What's up, Stacks? So how you been, Jimmy? I wanted to say hi. Big Lou, bro. I haven't talked to you in a while, bro. I just wanted to say hi to all you guys.
Salute as usual.
Yeah,
What's up, cousin Dom?
Good you're doing better though.
Yes,
Thank you.
so Dom, to you, the title is "A True Boss Never Talks." What do you think?
Right.
Who's your favorite mob boss?
Well, growing up, I always heard good things about the chin. So I always, you know, choose the chin in these types of conversations. But, you know, I hear a lot of people talk about, excuse me, Carlo Gambino and how, you know, he died warm in his bed, didn't do any time, didn't talk. But, you know, Santo Trafficante basically beat the government a shitload too. You know, people don't want to talk about him. And, you know, and not for nothing, there's a lot of evidence that shows that he had involvement with the whole JFK thing. And I mean, the guy had power. I think there was a lot of power there that went overlooked because of his location. You know, like he's way down south over there in Tampa, and nobody really, you know, paid him any mind to that. But I think that's, you know, what got him, you know,
Well,
what
his
made
father,
him so lethal, you know?
yeah, his father was the boss before him.
Yeah, exactly. His father
And
was too.
his strength came from Cuba. When the mob was running Cuba,
Yeah.
he actually got locked up by Castro. And they
Exactly.
let him go. That's a historical fact.
His
So,
wife
yeah.
also, his wife, Juju, had extreme connections. Her side of the family had extreme connections to the Black Hand back in Sicily. People don't know that either. So he had like a lot of backing. He was a very feared
And it was said that he was trained under the tutelage of Tommy Lucchese, and he was sent up to New York by his father.
Yeah, exactly.
They're saying Gambino made one mistake picking Castellano as his successor.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, all right.
Like you said, I think they had.
You know?
Yeah, I think they had bigger. He had better other plans for the family to go in a different direction.
Lou, you're
And
right.
I don't think Castellano was able to
He
you know,
knew
Yeah.
Castellano knew bodies brought heat, and heat brought prison time. So Castellano wanted to pull a Mikey Corleone and make the family legit. But that
Right.
doesn't work. That works in the fucking movies.
right.
But the mistake he made, I believe, was how do you have your fucking underboss as your chauffeur? I threw a fucking grenade at that car. I just wiped out 2 possible problems.
Right.
You made it easy.
Right.
How fucking stupid are you?
I agree with that.
Well, remember, Neil just passed away only 2 weeks before he was killed, so he probably was, you know, he still was transitioning into the position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
but still,
I get what you're saying.
Like you should have security. Gotti had Bobby Borriello, and he had a couple other guys. You gotta have. It's like the president and vice president. They never fly on the same plane.
Right.
In case something happens to one another,
Right.
somebody has to assume the power. That's why they call it underboss.
Yeah, because if Bilotti wasn't there, he could have still been pushing from
He
the
could
Paul
have
Castellano
retaliated,
wing.
perhaps.
Right.
I mean, look, these guys. You also got to think about Tommy Lucchese, 3-Finger Brown. Look at this guy. I mean, this guy. I mean, this guy was definitely a good boss. Got the family named after him. He was a good earner. And in that life, look, he was everything he was supposed to be in that life.
And then his daughter married Tommy's son. I mean, Carlos' son, and it made the two stronger. As far as hooked together. You know what I mean?
Amen.
So yeah, because they believed in Sicilian. Sicilian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Yeah.
I don't want to change the subject, but go back to the prison thing. Like you were talking, Lou, and I was over here like, absolutely. I was agreeing with everything you were saying and shit. But one of the things I saw when I was locked up in there, when Jimmy said dry snitching, I saw these young kids, like younger cats that came in, and these older dudes were talking that shit, and they were like, oh yeah, well, I'll beat your ass in front of the CO and shit like that, like saying shit loud, and they were doing all that stuff, dry snitching.
That's we call that a PC move.
Yeah, so that the fucking cops would hear them and come, and come.
Yeah. What's the problem? What's going on over here?
Yeah. What's the haps? What's going on in there? Yeah. So it's like those dudes. Those dudes are everywhere in there, man. Everywhere in there, bro. Everywhere. It's crazy. It's so crazy, And
the other misconception too is that these people think that when these dudes that were, really with the business at one time, they decide to hang it up and they drop out and they debrief and whatever. These people are under the impression that these people just go asshole backwards and just become a coward. You know what I mean? Yeah. These dudes will still put something up in you. You know what I mean? Longer than your arm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't.
Dude, when they wanted to fucking when they wanted to get pulled out for like getting extorted, they used to tell the commissary dudes that would come around and bring the bags of the commissary. They'd be like, yo, can you do me a favor? Can you take this, that, and this and take it over to cell 3? And then they would be like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Because you're not allowed to do that sort of shit. And that's how they would dry snitch on shit. Oh, you can't be crazy. Nobody.
How about what do you think about the story with Vito Genovese? When Vito Genovese took a pinch and he got 10 years, that someone gave him up.
Oh, I think it's fucking horseshit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
he got set up.
He definitely got set up, but it's so funny, like being a part of all of this.
Do you think Carlo Gambino had something to do with that? Do you think Carlo? Because you know what, Vito Genovese at the time was, very strong. He was a mad murderer. He was a mad hatter, and at that time, they say Carlo Gambino set him up. I mean, what do you think about it?
I definitely think that there's enough treachery in that life that I would believe that absolutely.
To get him out of the way, to get Vito Genovese out of the way.
That's not a common tactic. I mean, that tactic's been used over time like crazy. You know what I mean? Like
that playbook is wide open.
Like with Louis Lemke, the way they gave him up, same type of shit. They bring the heat off them, gave him up. I can believe it. I can believe it because they're looking at it like he's taking down. He's bringing too much heat to the whole deal as a whole. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, guys were afraid of Vito Genovese. Vito Genovese had a good family.
Yeah, strong, very strong.
Oh, dude, in the Highlands, New Jersey. That's where Vito Genovese lived.
Vito Genovese. This is a guy. This is a guy who was rubbing elbows with Lucky Luciano, Bugsy Teagle.
He was Lucky's. Wait, he was Lucky's underboss.
He was also friendly with Anastasia. So, and then he's in jail. Carlo Gambino. You know what? He gets an idea. Let me take Albert Anastasia out.
Right.
I'm saying, I mean, there's so much politics into mob.
Yeah, because you know what? If that didn't happen to Vito, if that didn't happen to Vito, maybe Carlo didn't become as powerful as
exactly. That's why the Genovese family is, they say the smartest family out there.
Yeah, G family. Everybody. Anybody who's the right hand is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean. I always knew that to be a common tactic. That's why my question way back when I first started this was the question that I asked. I mean, I caught a bunch of fucking heat for it, but I asked, has anybody heard that like Sammy was like sanctioned to do what he did and shit like that? Because that was a tactic commonly used by those guys. You know what I mean? Like, give them up to the cops, give them up to the feds, let the feds get rid of the motherfucker. You know what I mean? It's easier for them to let us have them handle our dirty work for us, kind of thing. Now, I don't know if that was the actual context in all that shit with Sammy, but that was the sentiment on the street. People definitely said that. I know that for a fact, that people were going around saying that. But yeah, I don't put it past Carlo doing shit like that. Those guys viewed moves like that as being as chess moves. That's playing chess. You know what I mean? That's staying one step ahead of your opponent. These internet warriors and shit will go, oh, that's a rap move, but it's coming from the top. You know what I mean? So who are they to say?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, that's my 2 cents on that one.
Hey,
But yeah, that's a good one, Jimmy. That's a good question.
How about changing it up? So cousin Dom.
Yes,
I
sir.
know probably throughout the course of life, somebody who overdosed.
Oh, tons. Yeah. Tons. Plenty of them. Yeah, it's that's a tough one, man. That's a tough subject with me, especially because I put a lot of my friends in the ground over that. That was really bad. The high school that I had gone to for a little while, we called it heroin high. There was everybody and their kid brother was on heroin out there.
And how old at this time?
How old was I?
Yeah.
It started when I was like 16, started seeing kids drop off as late as 30, 31. That I take that back. I'm sorry. My friend Marty, my friend Marty passed away. I was 37. So of shit like that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely real. Some of these guys were high profile dudes. I mean, like I put one of my friends, Tyson, in the ground. He was a really well-known singer of a band and everything, and it was one of the saddest things that I've ever had to witness. I mean, you talk to a guy and 1 week and he's like, yeah, I'm off the shit, I'm off the junk. He's actually he was talking to me, saying to me, I don't know how I'm gonna write another album without heroin, because every album I've written I've been on heroin, but I'm gonna do it this time and everything's gonna be fine and blah 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 blah. And 3 days later he's gone. You know what I mean? Because he couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, look at the actor, bro. What's his name? Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Hoffman.
I mean, look at this guy. This guy was a great actor, and you know what? I mean, he was doing drugs on the down low.
He was clean 22 years, Jimmy, and he went back to it. That's got to tell you something.
Crazy.
Hold on.
The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.
I love that, Jimmy.
That's my new ringtone.
That's
Can't get enough. Can't get enough of that on A to G.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
That's awesome, man. I love that.
Princess Mish.
Look at this weather out. Look at this weather out here in Cali.
No, it's beautiful out there. I tell you, New York, but hey, New York is a beautiful day today. It's cold, but the sun's shining.
Hey, Lou,
pouring
I can smell the weed from here, bro.
Huh?
I can smell the weed from here.
Oh yeah, my dad's puffing. My dad's my dad's almost 80 and he still smokes. He's been smoking since he was about 11. And he ain't ever gonna stop. He ain't gonna stop.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Yeah, that heroin's a nightmare though, man. The drugs is a nightmare. It's a plague on humanity. It really is. Like Eddie was just saying, you know, look at the guy went 20 some odd years and then boom goes back to it. You know, it digs its hooks in you, man.
Look, especially when it hits home and it's someone that you know and someone you love.
Yeah.
You know what? That's when it's really gonna be painful and hurtful.
Absolutely.
You know?
Did you ever see that documentary, Jimmy? They released it not too long ago. I saw it on like HBO Max, I think it was, about these about the lives of these 3 people or whatever.
Yeah, City Life, the new
City
one.
Life. You saw it?
I saw it.
Bro, that was one of the saddest fucking things I ever saw. They all died. Every one of them
Oh
died.
my fucking God.
The woman was off of heroin for years, man. Had grandkids, everything.
Saving lives too.
Went off the rails for like a
Gotta
week.
watch it.
And then
She
boom,
relapsed.
it's gone. The kids are
She
burying their mother, and it was the saddest freaking thing. You saw when they showed the guy when they found him, he had exploded in his house.
Yeah, in his kitchen.
Forget it,
Bro. If anybody listen, you know how they used to have scared straight for kids not to go to prison? You watch this documentary that they filmed over 15 years. They started this film, and they went around and followed their lives and the gradual progressions of addiction. And like Cousin Dom said, at the end, you're like, what the fuck? We're rooting for this chick. And we're like, yeah. She helped women she saved women's lives. She was going to shelters, getting people clean. And then, boom, she had that strange mental blank spot in her head. And all of a sudden, she got high. And
and I mean, she was in the projects, like right there next to the same dealers, like the dealers' kids that she used to buy from that were now dealers. And she was like, I'm good. I don't need it. I'll help you. I'll help this one. I'll help that one. And then boom, man, she was gone for like a week. Nobody heard from her. And then she just boom, she was dead. Crazy. I mean, once you get that feeling of what that drug can do for your body, physically or more mentally, whatever it is that it gets its hooks in on you. I mean, it's with you for life. I mean, that's like a demon you can't shake. You got to have real willpower and dedicate your life, to God to get away.
But even then, because I got an uncle, he's been clean for like about 20 years now, and he's in the 70s, and he says that and he gave his life to the Lord and all that. He says he has the urges every now and then.
Oh yeah,
it's real.
Listen, it's an everyday battle. Every day you have to get through the day, because you know what? At any time you could go back to that lifestyle. I'm saying, because there's temptation. You know what? Because sometimes there's that emptiness that you think you're missing something, but you're really not.
It's a spiritual void. It's a spiritual void, and you don't feel good. Listen, people get high when they're happy and they're celebrating. People get high when they're depressed and down and they're hurting. So it don't matter what the outside condition is. It's an inside condition.
Right.
And it's like, I'm fucking empty. I'm not feeling right. And I got a hole in my soul. And let me fix it. And it's a fucking lie that, like I said, the devil and the angel on each shoulder, they both sound the same. And sometimes you gotta just know what the right thing to do is. It's tough. But that documentary, Cousin Dom, you're 1,000% correct. Everyone should check that the fuck out.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Watch that. Do you want to watch that? And I would say, if you've got, like, to anybody, like if you've got a family member or you've got like a kid or whatever that you think might be hanging out with people that are involved, show them that documentary, bro.
Amen.
Like he said, it's like scare straight for opiates and heroin, bro. It's unreal. It shows you them like from like, what was that, Eddie? That was like in the 80s, right? Late 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like it showed them as kids, and then it just shows them progressively just getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
One dude ends up with AIDS.
Everything.
It's bad.
Hey, you guys seen that? You guys seen that show where they the girl, her name's Allie. She's blonde and she's got an Italian last name. I can't remember what it is right now. And it's a show where they show her and the male guy who they're going around. They're trying to get people in beds for treatment. Well, the guy has his, he's clean and sober, but then he keeps relapsing. And and it shows his struggle as well. This shit's real, bro. People, shit is really real. This guy here, he is trying to help people, but then he keeps having his own little problems, and it keeps reoccurring with him where he I've seen at least where he's relapsed at least 3 or 4 times that he openly admitted it. You know what I mean? So he's probably did it more that he didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just shows. And then they got people that actually die where they're like trying to find him a bed, and then before they can actually get him in the bed, they die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're in Florida. So
right. I believe that is like what Eddie was saying is it's like a self problem, because you got people that are addicted to crime. You got people that are addicted to heroin. I mean, it doesn't help when it's a substance that can make you physically dependent. But like you get people that are like addicted to gambling, or get addicted to like,
Sex,
whatever, could have like the most beautiful life at home, and they're like addicted to getting prostitutes and shit. Like it's all a void inside of you that you're trying to fill with that. And then on top of that, when you have something that's an addictive substance like, coke or heroin or whatever, or these goddamn cigarettes or whatever, that makes it even worse. But it's a self-dependency. You're looking to fill something with these things that you're doing, whether it be addicted to going to prison or addicted to armed robbery. I mean, I met a kid in the joint, man, that had 15, 20 friggin' armed robbery charges from the time when he was like 10 years old on up. Like, this kid's just full-blown addicted to robbing liquor stores.
They get the rush, the control. They have control.
And it's like, I'm like, why would you keep doing it? You got so lucky all these times where they were letting you out.
I think being addicted to armed robbery is probably the laws that are going on today, and also your upbringing. You know why? If you keep on committing armed robberies and you get away with them, you're gonna keep on doing it until you kill somebody.
Right.
Or get killed, or you're gonna get killed in a line of the robbery.
So because sooner or later, there comes an end. And the end is probably prison or death when you put a gun on your hand and you're armed, doing armed robbery, something like that. And also gambling. When you're addicted to gambling, that's a sickness. But you know what? Shooting dope in your arm and snorting fentanyl, however, I think that's more some serious stuff, because you know what? I mean, one little thing today, you don't wake up, you're dead.
Yeah.
I'm saying, I mean, it's so scary, because even seeing that person succumb to drugs is just so sad. That's like the saddest thing.
Yeah.
Here's something to think about.
And the person knows it, and that's the sad, that's the scary, sad, all that shit. You know what I mean?
See, it's before you start drinking or drugging or whatever the fuck your poison is. You're not feeling right. Let's say you fear, you're insecure. You take a couple of pops and wow, this feels good. And
now you're
it's working for you. The drugs and the alcohol are working for you at that point. But then the solution becomes a problem. Now there's medicine that I used to overcome my anxiety, my fear, my whatever, my service attachment. Now that's becoming a problem. Now instead of drowning now I got a fucking compounded problem. One, I never dealt with that PTSD, and two, now I got a fucking double whammy. I got the devil on my back with the fucking booze, just trying to forget shit.
That's when it becomes a gorilla instead of a monkey.
Yeah, and the gorilla, it's like having sex with the gorilla. You're done when the gorilla says you're done.
Yeah. And you know what it is too? A lot of people, I hear people talking.
Bro, you've been around the block, Eddie. There's no way you haven't been. That's the
hey, people get the case of the fuck it's. If they don't get the right answer for somebody they wanted to hear, or they get treated a certain way, or they get disappointed. It's easy for them to just say, "Oh well, fuck it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck it. I've been doing good for this much. Fuck it. One time ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah. See,
and I believe that's the devil in your ear.
That was me when I was a kid. Like I was like, trying to get approval and get positive attention and all that stuff. And when I wasn't getting it, I was like, you know what, fuck it. But it was like people ask me all the time. I mean, literally all the time. I've been asked on YouTube handfuls of times now. What was it that made me stop? It was when I filled the void. My son was born. It filled this void where it didn't matter whether you loved me anymore. The love that this kid was going to give me, the love that I was giving this kid, it filled the void. That was it. I didn't care whether my father thought I was this or my mother thought I was that or whatever. I didn't have to fill that void anymore. And I was filling that void with crime and with violence and all these bad things that I was doing.
And that's a part of growing up.
It is.
It's a part of growing up. Look, when you're young, you do a lot of foolish things. You think you're gonna, live forever. You don't understand life until you experience certain things. You start losing people. And you say,
Right.
well, you know what? I'm only going to be here for a short time period. We think,
Yeah.
we think 75 years is a long time. It's not. It comes quick. And you know
Yeah.
what? You got to say goodbye to the people you love. And then,
Yeah.
look, we hit a certain age, maybe 30, 40, 50, and we say, wow, you know what? I'm a parent now. I want to see my kids do good. I want to be here for my children.
Yeah.
I want to give something back to society. I want to be, I want to be here to help people.
Yeah, you don't want to leave that jacked up legacy that you used to have. You want to change it. Like you say, Jimmy, all the time. It's not where you started, it's where you finish.
Finish. And look, you got three of us. One guy, he served in the military. That's Eddie G.
Oh, good for you.
Dominic did some prison time. Big Lou did some prison time. I did some prison time. Everybody knows I got out of my troubles. I cooperate with the government. You know what? That's what I wanted to do. Okay?
Right.
So you know what? That was my way out. I'm done with that life. And you know what? For me, it was a wise decision. I don't care what anybody says out there. Okay?
No, you did right decision.
They can never walk in my shoes. But just saying, I mean, listen, life is so short. It's the decisions and the choices we make that are very important, because one wrong decision takes your whole life and you throw it away.
Jimmy, the priest said to me, I was at church yesterday in the mass, and he said, on your tombstone, you were born a certain year, and there's a dash between the year you die. He said, what are you doing with your dash? Because it's only that big.
Right.
That's your fucking life space. What are you doing with your dash?
It goes quick.
So for me, I missed a lot of, like I was talking to my son today. He's 18, and I did a couple prison terms before he was born. But since he's been born, out of the 18 years, I probably missed about 10 years out of his life. And unfortunately, I can't do nothing about that time. But now I'm a grandpa. You know what I'm saying? I'm a grandfather now, so I've been there all for her. She's almost 2. And so that's where I'm at. That's what I'm trying to do. And then my little ones, my little 5-year-old, or she's 6 now, excuse me. So I've been there for them. You know what I mean? So can't do nothing about the past, but I'm trying to.
Look, that's what a man does. You learn from your mistakes, and you know what? You want to be there for your kids. I'm saying you want to do the best you can for them. You want to show them, you know what? I'm here. You go to work every day. You come home. You see your family. I'm saying, look, and you make it work. As far as even with your girl, your wife. I'm saying, as far as a relationship. I mean, we try to make it work. Sometimes relationships don't work. We understand that. But you know what? That's a part of growing up. You know what? Life is in cycles. But anyway, I got Joey Doves here. Joey D.
What's up, man? Eddie.
Joey D.
My brothers.
But Joey, man. Hey, but Joey D, what do you think? Who's your favorite voice of all time? Now, back in Ohio, back in Ohio, you got a lot of mafia guys out there in Ohio. You got guys in Youngstown.
Listen, my grandfather was from that generation. He born 1800s. Started his own wholesale business. His business burned down in 73. He built it again. Everyone, look, my grandfather used to have that, he's a very quiet man, quiet guy. He'd say what he have to say. You would be surprised because me, I'm not that quiet. My grandpa quiet, old school. I remember one time I talked, we're in the wholesale business. We knew everybody. If I wanted meat, I can give meat. Like when they had the toilet paper shortage, I just called up a phone call to a warehouse. Hey, man, I need some toilet paper. Joe, how many cases you need? Give me a case. If I need some more, I'll let you know. I didn't panic. I called the wholesalers. I know all of them. If I needed bread, I need anything. He showed me everybody. He took me to he said, Joe, you're going to meet everybody. He used to call me his driver. This is my driver. His grandson, he's my driver. You know what I mean? So I meet everybody. Anyone, he tell me, hey, this is where you got to go to get your car paid. This is where you got to go do this. Hey, Joe, we go in the warehouses. They're cooking spaghetti, meatballs in the warehouse. Okay, I go in, I smell them. Mama, give me some of this food, So look, and he just never talked about that kind of stuff. If you ask him, hey, Pop, what's about the mafia? Because, we're younger, we see all this stuff. He said, what mafia? What are you talking about? And my grandma one time pulled his arm and said, look, we had some nice dinners. He goes, okay, Joe, we had some nice dinners. You know what I mean? That's it. You don't talk. Those guys never talked. You know what I mean? But of course, if you're in the wholesale business, back through the, 60s, 70s, he knew guys. You know what I mean? He didn't talk about it. I mean, that's just the way he was. It wasn't talk. Those guys didn't speak. My grandfather wouldn't speak on that stuff. He knew a lot. He used to go to Vegas all the time with the old Vegas. He got pictures of the old Vegas. You know, he didn't talk about it. They wanted him to start when Toyota first came in the country, he could have got a Toyota dealership. His brother took it, but he didn't take it. My grandfather was real humble, would drive around an old beat up Suburban. This guy's got millions of dollars, and he's driving around an old beat up Suburban. My grandma would have the better car. He didn't care. You know what I mean? He was a humble guy. He was meek. And the guys like he said, Gambino, those guys like Chin, they were smart. But I'm gonna tell you, I really believe, and I don't care what anyone thinks about this. I think Sammy the Bull would have been a good boss, not just underboss, because he had a lot of respect from the guys on the street, and he was a smart guy. I mean, Sam, I don't care what anyone say about Sammy. I really don't. You know what I mean? The man is, as far as I'm concerned, he's a legend in his own right. Yes, he had to do what he had to do, but like Dom said, how many guys probably really agreed with what some guys might have got put away? Some guys, like he said, might use certain entities to do their dirty work. And the same thing, Paul Castellano, I can understand he was a smart businessman, but he was bad being a boss because he didn't understand about greed. When you got guys underneath you, and say all of us, say we had a crew, we're a boss. Let's just put our own shoes on like that. I got guys doing work for me. I got all this money coming in. I mean, how much money I really need? I'm going to kick some out to my guys. I'm going to make everyone happy because anywhere, anything, people get jealous. Even in armies, they get jealous of leaders. So they want to take that leader out because he ain't working with them. So they'll go around and take leaders out of countries. If you're smart, if he would have probably kicked some money to Sammy, hey, Sammy, guess what? That $40,000 I owed you on that deal you made, here's that $40,000. Because Sammy got paid everyone, and Sammy was the type of guy who was going to pay everyone and then get his money last. I would have kicked him $80,000. I said, Sammy, here's $80,000. And you need anything else? No, I don't need. Okay, you sure you don't need anything else? I would have kept that guy happy, and I would have kept other guys happy because you could be the boss, but they says listen to some of the stories about Castellano. Even Michael Francis had a dealing with him with the chicken. This guy was not a good guy. He was greedy. He would have a business mind. Don't mean you're a good guy. Because he could have made a lot more friends than enemies. And what happened was, why they took him out, because I hear Sammy talk about him in a loving way. But then there's that other side that he fucked him over. He screwed him over. And Sammy was the Frank the Chico. Frank probably would have been a good boss. Okay. They even said remember Sammy said the story that they talked between them. We're gonna let John be the head, like that puppet master, because his ego's so big. I honestly think that was a wrong move. Because he started bringing all those guys to that club. Come on, guys. Eddie, Lou, all you guys. If you had a crew, I don't want everyone knowing my crew. I want them to be secret as possible.
No, you're right.
I wouldn't even care if we ever met up. I don't want the FBI is taking pictures of them every day. The FBI is looking at them like, look, these are like fish in a barrel. You remember that SOCOM video when they were shooting fish in a barrel? Fish in a barrel. They just got everything they needed. They probably said, who the hell is that guy? Get his license. Get his number. Follow his ass. Follow his ass home. Follow him. They were,
They didn't look. There was a lot of guys they took pictures of that they didn't know. They didn't know every person in the family until they started coming to the club.
Obviously, and that's what I mean. You don't think that they said, "Hey, guy, we got you. They got all the officers they need, all the agents they need. Follow this guy. Find out where the hell he's going. Follow that guy. Find out where the hell he's going. Follow this guy. Find out where the hell he's going. Then follow that guy and follow who he knows." They gave them I have respect for John Gotti. Don't get me wrong. I do. This guy's an old schooler. Don't get me wrong on that. I'm gonna tell you, I don't look at these guys. I look at a lot of these guys like businessmen. They just had a different type of business. That's how I look at it. Jimmy, I look at it like that because my family had a business wholesale and they still do.
Yeah. Now look,
I'm just saying that that was the stupidest, and like Sammy said, that's the stupidest move. He tried to tell him, what are you doing? You don't have to have the worst weakness you can have as a boss is an ego. They don't care if you're a boss of a business. You need to treat everyone with respect. When I ran my family's business, when we had to run and do stuff, and the guys to this day, even when I fired them, they still came back and said they couldn't be mad at me. Because I used to tell him, you're going to fire yourself. I'm not going to fire you.
Joe Smokes, but the thing is, look, you know what? Look, you talk about ego, and I'm going to tell you, mostly everyone in that life has an ego. All the wise guys I met in my lifetime, okay? Actually, you know what? I could write a book on that. Every wise guy I met. I could put a chapter on every wise guy I met. Okay, look, every one of them have an ego. Okay, everyone thinks that they're better than the next one. They think that they're smarter than the next one. They think that they're tougher than the next one. Okay, but here's one guy who says something. He killed Paul because he wanted more. He wanted more than just being a capo. Now, that's the thing, too. These guys always want to move up the ladder. They're not good at just being a wise guy. Now, you know what? Wait, I'm a wise guy. I'm reporting to a captain. So, you know what? Now, eventually, I want to become a captain. I want guys to report to me. I'm saying then next step is I want to control the family. I want my guys. I want to put my guys at the top. I want to control the family. But you know what? That's how guys think, because at the end of the day, it's all about greed. And you know what? There's treachery in that life. You got to kill your own friend, and you got to kill the next guy and knock the next guy off to get to the top. It's always that way.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And then Sammy said, because I'm going off of what these guys say. I'm not going off of my, personal experience. I'm just saying, but what he said was, you're right 100% on that. I believe, though, when they put John Gotti in there, John Gotti, they said they had found out they might have been dealing with some drugs, and he might have been on the watch list of Paul, and maybe they knew that. So we might have a tough time here. Let's try to take this guy out. So they included Sammy, and Sammy already had some, like you said, you're going to bring up some bad feelings and some resentment there. So they were able to use that resentment of Sammy had, because he felt like he could have, he could have had, he felt like he deserved more, like you just said. But I think that's what you're saying. They all had some type of, you're right, there was some type of ego, even like football players, different stuff. They have some type of, have that superstar always has a little ego, like Michael Jordan and everyone. You got to have that little ego to push you, motivate you, I guess, to help. But that was a lot of the downfall. That was a lot of those guys' downfall, not being meek, not, not having that meekness to them.
And all these guys they all have their own personal story behind them. Who they were with, who they were around growing up. For example, we all know that Sammy was eventually with the Colombo crew, and then he branched off to the Gambino family. And who is his guy? Tato was his guy, right? Tato was a captain in the Gambino crime family, and he's the one who vouched for Sammy, straightened out Sammy, right? And then later on, Tato wants to step down, and he goes to Carlo Gambino and tells Carlo, I want Sammy to take over my my position, being capo, and he steps down, and that's how Sammy becomes a captain. But I'm going to tell you something. Look, Sammy's from my neighborhood. He's from Bensonhurst. Look, Sammy was a well-respected guy in my neighborhood, and he was a gangster. He really was. And he was involved in killing 19 people. Okay. That's what that life is. That life is, treachery all day long in that life. I'm saying a lot of guys have to go. Some guys don't listen. So you know what? Guys get killed for not listening. Guys get killed for doing drugs. Guys get killed for selling drugs. Guys get killed for disrespecting people. I mean, it's just that life. You know what? I mean, you're putting your life in someone else's hands. That's what that life is all about.
Well, would you think Sammy would have been a good boss? Do you think he would have, if they would have said, hey, Sammy, you're the boss, Chico, you're the underboss, or they could have made it? I know they say John never would have took a lesser role, but you think, let's just say, what if, like the what if comics? What if Sammy would have been the boss? Chico would have been there, and
Sammy would have been a good boss, 100%, I think. But let's talk about Frank DeChico. How smart Frank DeChico was. You know what? I don't want to be boss. John wants to be the boss. Let's keep John the boss. Let him make him the boss. I'll stay on the boss. I'll be in the background. And you know what? He thought that way because that's the way he learned.
Yep.
Instead, he learned from his father. He learned from his grandfather. They were both wise guys. So you know what? I'll stay in the background. You want to be the boss? Okay, we're going to make John the boss. We're going to kill Paul Castellano, because after we kill Paul Castellano, it's going to be a big thing. I'm saying, so, who are they going to look at, the feds? Let them look at John. you know, and I'll stay in the background, and maybe I could skate, and you know what, see what happens. We'll go day by day with this, and see what the outcome is.
Frankie was the power behind the throne, in other words.
Of course, listen, Frank DeChico. Now look, if you look,
That's why they came to him.
Look, if you look at photos, right? Who's in all the photos with Paul Castellano? Frankie DeChico.
He was the Judas.
He was smart. He was a smart guy. Wasn't he though?
He was
real smart.
He's very well respected. I mean, Paul Castellano gave that hit, Roy DeMeo hit to Frankie DeChico.
Yep.
Hey, Frankie DeChico, he reaches out to Nino. I guess, eventually they get in touch with the Lucchese family. I mean, then Nino's two guys, Joe Testa and Anthony Senta, kill Roy DeMeo, and they get strained out with the Lucchese.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, there's a lot of politics in this life. And you know what? Look, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And in that life, the majority of guys, they're going to get killed. I'm saying back then, that's how it was. I'm saying so only the real smart guys really stay alive.
Yeah, when I was a carpenter back then in the late 90s, 2000s, and I was in my school, one of the guys took over, said he was going to they felt like, because we had a couple run-ins here and there, they like my attitude, kind of like, this how I just tell like it is, whatever. They like that. They said, look, we're thinking about putting you in an national union. I said, what's that? He said, we're going to put you in a national carpenters union. You'll go around the whole country, wherever we tell you, and you'll help organize different unions, where they're not unionized, because a lot of times you got to go places, you got to organize. I said, really? He goes, yeah. But then my grandfather called me right when I graduated. He said, Joe, I need you to take care of, your grandmother, me. I need a driver. His eyes was getting a little worse. So I went over to Mike. I said, little Mike, I got to leave the school after I was done. And he said, Joey, your grandfather come first. We're always going to be here. But the one thing I always felt like that was a good opportunity. That could have been a great opportunity for me. International union of carpenters. And I wonder who I might have been dealing with. You never know who you're going to be dealing with at that stage and level of the game. You know what I mean? But at the same time, they had a lot of the unions still, at that time. But I'm going to tell you, you're right 100% on that. You're 100% on that. They had a plan. That's why they put John in there. But I just still wonder how history would have been. Flip it. We could just flip it a little bit.
Look, and let me tell you, look, this is the thing too. I mean, look, you can't take anything away from the guy, John Gotti. Okay. Because in all honesty, look, just think about it. This guy stood up. Who was that? Adam left. This guy stood up, and you know what? He died in jail. Okay. So the thing is, you know what? He took that oath, and that's what he believed in. And he did walk around like, you know what? That's the life he lived, and you can't take nothing from him. In all honesty, I mean, you can't. People talk bad about him. The Sammy and John Gotti thing, but listen, the guy died in jail. You know what? He believed in that life, and in all honesty, you know what? The guy was. Look, he was what he was, man. Seriously, So I give. You gotta give the guy props, man. The guy,
you gotta give him props. He was old school.
He died in jail. I don't care how he look. As you live, you get a little more smart and intelligent. You understand this life. You know what? And there's no happy ending at the end. John became the boss in '85. They killed him in December. Paul Castellano, December 16, 1985. I mean, he might have got picked up 89, 90, 91, somewhere around that time. I think maybe 1990. I mean, he was a boss for 5 years. Yeah. So you know what? I mean, it just goes to show, you know what? Is it really worth it?
Yeah, and he was fighting. He was already fighting cases when he took over, and he was constantly in court.
I'm sure everyone in his family, wishes that he was around, and that all those days that he spent in prison and spent with his friends, that he was home eating dinner with his family and spending time with them. I'm saying, giving him that extra hug, and you know what? Listen, right. Because listen, you know what? Looking back, bro, there's nothing good that comes out of this shit. I don't care if you stood up. I don't care if you cooperate. Listen, nothing good comes out of this. It destroys all families. All the families you look at. Look at Wild Bill's family, for instance. Okay, they kill his father. Okay, look at Ali Boy Persico. He's doing life in jail. I mean, every family gets destroyed. There's nothing good that comes out of this. I don't care what people say. You can look at all these. I mean,
Carmine did about 50 years. You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
I'm saying. Look, all these guys do all this time. And you know what? To put your son in this life, you got to be crazy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, guys, I'm going to jump. I want to thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, me too.
I'll talk to you soon.
You
Hey,
guys,
Eddie,
Me too,
good
Jimmy.
luck.
I'm gonna take
bye,
off.
guys.
Hey,
Thank
Eddie,
you.
good luck in your acting, brother.
right,
You
fellas.
got it.
Thank
Keep
you.
it.
All
Hey,
right,
listen, we got some plans for you, brother, in the future, anyways.
All
All
right.
right, keep it
Yeah,
going,
thanks
man.
for
You
bringing
got
me
the
on.
it
See you
factor.
guys
They
later.
missing out on you. They better get a hold of you.
Jimmy
Bye,
C, Eddie G, and
See you soon.
Joey D. I'm out.
All right.
Lou,
All right.
I love you, brother. Hey, give us some of that West Coast sunshine over here.
But,
Me and
yeah,
Jimmy need it.
yeah. But listen, Joey Smokes. Yeah,
All right, man.
Look,
Got you.
in 5
I
more
love you.
minutes, I'm gonna go. But get it. You want to say something?
Hey, you want to say hi to Mom? You want to say hi to Mom real fast?
Sure, put her on.
Oh, she just calmed me down. She said she in the bathroom. Yeah, I gave her some wine. I gave her some wine today. It's Sunday wine day. You know what I mean?
Hey, but listen, send my love to your mother.
She said she's sorry. She loves you.
Yeah, tell her I love her too. And I'll see you soon, okay?
I see you soon, brother. I love you, man. Stay strong.
All right, Joe. I'll see you soon. All right. Bye. Joey Smokes. And all the guys that came in today, thank you to Eddie G, Cousin Dom, Big Lou, Joey Doves, a couple other people that came in the chat. Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate it. To all you guys, Patrick Dinnigan, Michael Hensley, Tony the Night Owl, Eddie G. Thank you, Eddie G. I appreciate it. Boston J. Miss Can't Be Wrong. To all you people out there who showed up today, we had 330 something people in the chat. Thank you so much for coming, and I appreciate it so much. I appreciate the support and all that. Until next Sunday, always keep God first, keep God in your life all the time, and do the right thing to other people. If you can help somebody, spread the love, spread the kindness. It pays off, and that's what we need today in this world. We need kindness. There's too much hate going on out there. With that said, I love you guys. Until next week, I'll see you soon, okay?
The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back. The streets will never make you grow. It's not a seed, it's a gutter. There's no happy endings in this life. So this is my message to you. The streets will never love you back.